Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the MCU Crew. Marvel keeps helping us out, guys. They just keep releasing trailers the mornings of the show. It's great. They should really keep this up. I really appreciate it for a young startup podcast like ours to just get all of the. Sorry, our dog is going crazy. All of the new trailers. Apparently, this was rumored last night, so I guess I caught on like right at midnight, but then I just went to sleep. But the trailer's out finally. It's out. Well, because it didn't come out till this morning. I don't even know if
went to sleep.
yeah, I didn't want to dig into it too much. I don't even know if Simu even knew that it was coming out because he posted this, which was the official poster for Shang-Chi with the costume. Didn't even know. I don't think the trailer was coming out because then I think like 30 minutes later, Marvel actually dropped it.
Were they like? Did they frame it as like a birthday gift? Is that what that was?
I think so.
Like,
yeah.
Happy birthday!
They
Wink.
framed it as a birthday gift. Exactly. Which is great. First up, before we jump into the trailer, what do you guys think of the costume?
I love it.
I mean, I have zero expectations for what the costume would be, considering the comic costumes are like ridiculous. Like they're as garish as the the Vision Wanda costumes that they like Halloweened in the it's like very bright and very crazy. I'm like, I don't know if they're gonna do that for the show or for the movie, so yeah, I'll take whatever. Looks great.
Yeah, I think it looks better than the Black Widow poster, at least, because that just looked so unbelievably CG'd. I'm pretty sure that wasn't the only thing real in here in that photo. Might have been her eyes. Like, it was CG'd to shit, and this one, the lighting looks. Even though this is CG'd to shit, this one looks a little bit better.
I was about to say, let's not pretend this also isn't like
they're 100% both
down,
CG'd to shit.
That is someone came in and like did a thing. Yeah. The neck down. It just but the eyes.
The eyes real.
Up, I think that's him.
Yeah.
I think that could be him.
He's got a good head of hair. Yeah. They didn't CG that hair. You know.
That's like a Marvel thing. It's you're right. It's very funny where they like, all right, well, the costume's not ready, so we'll just like CG it in.
Yeah, that's probably.
They do that frequently.
Green Lantern style.
Yes, Green Lantern style, exactly.
No lessons were learned. No lessons were learned.
Memory.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've watched that. Anyways,
you're doing yourself a favor. Yeah.
Maybe I'll watch it again on the plane this week. Maybe I'll just, No, not a good idea. Stay away from it. Okay. All right. Okay.
Don't do this to yourself, dude.
All right. Well, let's talk about that trailer. I think it looks great. I think
it looks great. That is.
I'm trying to figure out how someone had I think someone had a great take, and it was like, it looks like a Phase 1 trailer where it seems so disconnected from the rest of the Marvel universe because we don't know how they're going to connect it, right? Because there's so many ways that they could really connect it, but it just looks like a standalone movie at the moment. Apart from the guy being in the trailer that is, of course, the Spider-Man do a flip guy. He was also in that bus that Awkwafina was driving. Funny enough. So apparently that's the normie guy in the MCU.
There's a lot I'm curious about on timeline, for timeline's sake. I think I remember reading somewhere a long time ago, so this may not be accurate information, but I think based on what we saw in the trailer, it could be true. The idea that like the young version of him is pre-snap, and then maybe he gets snapped, comes back, and he's like in a different world, and so he's no longer connected to. Because I think all right, in the comics, he's like trained by Fu Manchu,
right?
Which is racist as shit. Like, there's no getting around how racist that character is, and so I feel like that. I think he's not even in this movie.
I think isn't his dad Fu Manchu?
No, I think his dad in the movie, the retcon is it's literally Mandarin is his father. Like, he is in the crime syndicate. And I think, I mean, my guess is that this is like, it's pre-snap, he's being trained, snap, he's gone, he comes back, and then he's like out, right? Like they've moved on without him, and they're like, you gotta come back. He's like, I don't wanna. I feel like that's the vibe I got from the trailer, but I could be way off. I could be a million degrees off of that. I have no clue.
Yeah.
I watched it like 8 times, and I'm still like, I don't think I even know the plot of this. I'm just,
which is cool.
hazarding guess.
Yeah, I mean the actual it is a teaser, not a trailer. The trailer will
Right.
set up the actual story of the movie sometime later this year, I'm sure. Bronze, what's your take on what we saw in the 2.5 minutes or however long it was?
You know, I haven't seen a trailer this season since the Black Panther trailer. You know, like it has seasoning. It's different.
Sure.
And I like that for it. It's just it's so like out of what we've gotten in the past few years that because that's like the one thing I kind of miss about Marvel kind of bumbling around trying to find its way is even though we had some movies that were less than stellar, I did feel like um Thor was a very like taste wise and thematically different from like everything else and stuff like that. And I
Mhm.
do think Taika, by going the 80s route and going like the high fantasy metal route, has kind of kept that. But some of the other stuff I feel like has kind of started to mush in and feel the same. So I do like this trailer just because it was
Mhm.
so out of left field. It's not what I was expecting.
Yeah, for sure.
It's seasoned.
It's seasoned. That's a good way to put it. I didn't know where you were going when you first mentioned that, but no, I agree now. I like it. It's a good way to discuss it. Yeah, I'm all for. I thought the action that we saw, the small bits of it looked great. The like flashback scenes looked fucking remarkable. There was a giant
I have
tiger.
no.
Like that's great.
I'm telling you, that could all be amazing. Or you know how in I want to say the Snyder Cut, but I know that's not what that movie's called. Justice League.
Yeah.
How there's like that epic 10,000 years ago.
Yeah,
that
the
scene.
start.
That's so neat. But it's also like, 5 minutes of movie time. So maybe the stuff we saw could be the whole movie, or it could be 5 minutes in the movie. Either way, I was like, I want to see some wirefu dragon fight tiger / running up shields, flying through the air with. I'm like, I'm in for all of this.
Yeah.
I want to see all of it.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Not maybe a slight spoiler, I guess, but the Lego set for this movie was leaked last summer, and in said Lego set,
Lego sets be ruining everything. It's ruined Star Wars secrets for years. Let's be real.
Apparently, in said Lego set, according to someone in my chat, I did not do the research of this, but the legendary character Fin Fang Foom is going to be in here, who is a dragon. He's an alien who appears to us as a dragon. So we'll see if they just straight up put a fucking extraterrestrial dragon in this movie. That would be great.
Yeah, one day ago, people are posting reviews of the actual Legos themselves.
Yeah, okay. I'm sure there's some other ones in there. I don't want to get into too many of them, but Fin Fang Foom would be pretty badass. He is a
oh my god, yeah, no, it literally is
extraterrestrial
like
creature resembling a dragon. Yeah,
I want all of that. I want all of it.
I just
I'm
like
just
that
looking-
they're ramping it up. Like they're, Guardians opened up so many doors. We've said that so many times, but they really are just like, all right, we got a fucking talking raccoon. People love him, and we got a tree who just says 3 words. Fucking bring on the space dragons. I don't give a shit. Let's put them in the movie. We're going up. Let's get everything. Get it all in.
I just want to say, ever since playing Final Fantasy 14, I am 2,000% in on the idea of space dragons. I don't know why dragons from space is my favorite concept. Like, they're dragons. They're just from space. Don't you get it? And you're like, yes, I do.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Couldn't explain it.
It's true.
But the way this Lego dragon looks is literally my favorite. I sent you guys the image.
Wait, where did you send it? On Twitter?
On in the call.
Oh, let me see. I haven't seen it yet.
If you see this dragon, This dragon, I almost am angry that Aquafina doesn't just voice the dragon too.
Yeah, it's just Ryan, the Last
I want-
Dragon, X
Yeah,
Marvel.
I just want that VO.
What the hell is this?
It has it has like the happiest, silliest looking eyes. Like, oh jeez, I'm a dragon. Better watch out! I'm from space. I'll get you. Oh my god. And the best part is because it's Lego, it like looks a little off, so we truly have no idea what it actually looks like. But that right there is incredible.
I kind of hope that's not like the
Is
comic
it
version.
breathing water?
Do what? Oh yeah, it looks like it
Is
is.
it breathing water?
Yeah.
Water dragon, obviously, from space.
Like
Doesn't Fang
he's
breathe fire?
yeah, he's also a giant green dragon. For reference, I don't know if that's him. That just might be a different dragon. This is like the classic Fin Fang Foom.
I mean, they did say 100% that they're changing a lot in this movie because they were like, "Look, we openly admit that the comics like have a lot of stereotypes and a lot of racial stuff going on in it. So
Sure.
we're gonna change some stuff. So I don't, who knows what they've changed. I feel like we'll find out.
There's a
Just
I'm scrolling on Fing Fang Foom image search and just getting lost. He's just fighting Iron Man, just a giant
yeah.
Oh, I
dragon.
remember that.
just
Yeah.
fighting
Sometimes you
Iron Man.
gotta. Sometimes you gotta.
It's just great. I want to see more of that.
My biggest thing about the entire trailer, I guess the movie itself is where does it take place in the timeline?
Sure.
That's for me. That's always super important, and I don't know why. I'm like, where does this movie take place in the timeline? How does it work? I want to say, like I said before, I want to say it is they're doing what they're doing with the TV shows, and I guess even Black Widow. I still don't quite understand Black Widow, but like the idea of just like where this plot takes place, and the best I can make sense is it's like because I don't know, like what. Watching the trailer, he clearly leaves at some point and comes back. So the question is, where does he leave to? And I'm going to assume he didn't just like go off to college. Like, all right, thanks for training me, everyone. See y'all in 4 years. Like, I assume that's not what happened. So my best assumption is he gets like snapped, right?
Could be.
And I don't,
It
then would
is a
place
good
the movie
excuse that they shoot.
Yeah, would place the movie in that sort of like WandaVision / Falcon Winter Soldier era that we're in right now, where it's sort of like everyone's dealing with the aftermath of Endgame. And I think that's fine. Like, I love more takes on what's going on with that world, because I think the more you dig into it, the more you're like, whoa, that's totally true. If half the things on Earth vanished and then came back, it would be a mess. Like it would truly affect everything that happens. So I'm fine with them dealing with that. I think that's like, it's so much better than just like, let's move on. And then the next movie, everything's chill, because it super wouldn't be. It would still be like, oh no, we have done terrible, terrible things.
Yeah.
This planet is crazy.
Yeah.
So
it's a good point. We'll have to see it. I think they would probably put some of that in the actual trailer for it when they get up to like reveal what the actual story of this is going to be.
Right.
To try to get people in, I would think. So we'll see.
I mean, right now it has the vibe of like, while watching the very first time I watching it on multiple like follow-ups, I was like, oh, I know what that is. I know what's going to, but like initial watch, it reminded me of, and this goes back to what Bronze was saying, and it had a very like early 2000 vibe. It reminded me of every Jet Li movie that came out in like the early 2000s.
Which
it had
is
like
a
that
good
vibe
thing.
to it.
Yeah, I think that's 100% a good thing, because oh gosh, what's his name? I don't want to butcher the pronunciation. I think it's Tony Luang.
Tony
or
Jaa?
I'm sorry.
Oh.
No, the guy, the dude that's playing the father, the dude that I think is like the Mandarin.
Yeah.
That's like a titan of Hong Kong cinema.
He's like, the OG.
So like when you have a cast of actors like that, you gotta put them in there. Like, you gotta have some throwbacks to that or pay some homage to that, because I'm excited to see it. I'm gonna be interested in seeing how the fight choreography is different for this film versus Marvel films, because I have like ranted about this on my channel like 30 times, where I'm like, we do not do martial arts that well. Like, our fight sequences don't have that impact. They don't feel as heavy. So like, if you go and watch a movie like The Raid and then you go and watch any American film, it just doesn't, I feel like we cut too much, we do too many jump cuts, whereas
Yeah.
there I feel like when it comes to like hand-to-hand combat films, it beat us every time. So I'm excited to see like how much of that comes through in this movie.
Same.
It seemed like from the trailer there's going to be a lot of it, which
It's great.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone made another great comparison on. It's always fun reading different people's views on how the MCU is set up, because it's just things that I never even thought about. They liken the idea of like Captain America setting up the like normalcy with a slight peek or nod behind the curtain of like, no, there's some cosmic shit going on, to this movie, with then Thor being what Eternals is going to do. So like, this is going to set up, you know, the idea that I guess dragons and like mythical lions exist or mythical tigers exist, right? And then Eternals is going to be like, by the way, all this shit exists because of this. So I hope that's what they're going for here. Because Eternals is I don't know how they do that movie. I will be shocked if they can somehow pull that off. I'm sure they will, but there's a reason I'm not a director, because I can't even comprehend how you tell that story, from what I know that story to be. But we'll most likely get a trailer for that after the director wins her Oscar, whenever that goes on, because that Marvel's going to try to like reel in that hype. But yeah, we'll see.
I'm sure they'll make changes, because I definitely felt that way about the Thanos storyline. Because like, coming at it from like, if you have that context of what the OG story is, I think sometimes that puts some blinders on, because you're like, wait, so are they going to introduce death and he's going to fall in love with death and then he's going to snap away half the universe because to impress her? No. Because I was like, wait, are they going to introduce this character? Like, is this going to, I was so going into like Endgame and the one before it,
Infinity War.
Fake fan, can't remember the name. Thank you. I was just like, when are they, is it going to be Hela? Is that going to be introduced as death? Is that, and it's like, they ended up cutting all of that, which is one of the main complaints I think a lot of fans of the movie have, is like, well, for such a smart guy, why would he just snap away half the universe? That's such a stupid solution to world hunger. And it's like, you're right. It is. But that's not originally why he did it. Originally, he did it because he's like, he
was
OG...
simping, y'all.
Yeah, he was.
He was
simping
simping, y'all.
But it's TOS.
He was simping for death, y'all.
He's the OG simp.
I don't think they're gonna get rid of us because
really
we're
is.
saying Thanos was a simp. I'm pretty sure that Disney.
It's true though. as like that series of comics, the whole like Infinity Gauntlet series, when I was but a wee lad, that was the thing to buy. Every time something came out, you were like at the shop buying. And I'm telling you, even then recognized like, this guy is going all out for, and she's like, whatever. He's like, but I love you, baby.
He'll be like, you can't deny me, woman. And she's just like, she just like turns around and walks away.
Like, I swear to God, I will blow up like all this shit for you. She's like, do it, bitch. And he's like, oh, I will, girl. Oh, I will. That is the entire premise. And then it almost didn't matter, because later you got to see him like break Wolverine and shit. It was like that you were like, I've never seen this before.
Yeah.
I've never seen all these here. When there's like a whole page and it's just filled with dead superheroes, you're like, holy crap. That was the coolest thing ever. So the minute they were like, Thanos is in Avengers, I was like, if we don't end up with a movie where half of all the heroes are dead, I'm gonna be real pissed. Like, that was the minute they were like a big purple man. I was like, I need to see a movie where they not only lose, but like we see heroes die. Like, I need to see this. And I was like,
I will. It's one of those things I'll never forget, watching that with Aaron, who's not like a comic book fan, and you start to realize that Thanos is like murdering people, just fucking, and then you see him snap, and there, like, I remember in the theater, there was like 5 or 6 gasps, me being one of them, because we knew what that meant. And Aaron is like, I remember Aaron like grabbing my arm and like doing the girlfriend squeeze arm thing. And I was like, you have no idea what just happened. And like about 5 minutes later, I looked over and she's just like, what the fuck just happened? Are they actually dead? What the fuck is going on? Like, yes, it was a very memorable scene. Memorable
Even
moment,
if you know what's
say.
gonna happen, it's still you don't know which half they're gonna snap. And so for me, the one that hurt was Tom Holland.
Yeah, they really did that one good. Yeah.
I felt the knife twisting in my chest when they snapped that poor boy. I was like, how dare you? You don't snap Peter. How dare you?
Yeah, they set that one
so
up real good.
You know it's coming. I feel like they did a really good job of you being like, oh.
It's still rough to watch. I mean, the idea that he knows it's coming. Yeah, it's so fucked up.
I think the big differences with the outcome of it. I knew they had to do a lot of changes because even Adam Warlock isn't even like in it.
Yeah, he doesn't exist.
I was like, all right, they're gonna have to do massive changes to this story because like he's a major character in the Infinity Gauntlet stuff, and he's like in a box somewhere on a gold planet right now. I was like, so I don't think that's gonna happen. So and I was like, obviously, there's Nebula's a huge character in the comic book arc, and like, I don't know. I was like, I have no idea where they're gonna take this. And I think they went like a fun way with it. But I also can understand how it's like everyone's like, it's kind of a cop-out though. But that's what all comics are. Let's not pretend. All comics are like, we've killed everyone. And then they're back. Like, that's just not like that's what it is. It's how it works.
Yeah.
And then you get another 10 years with your favorite character, and it's fine. You just get over it. You're like, well, there's 85 million Earths, and it's fine. We'll just go to another one, and a portal will open, and everything will be fine. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
Don't even stress.
Yep.
I mean, people always complain about that, though. They're always like, oh, I wish in comic books if the characters died, they stayed dead. And I'm just like, I consider them different encapsulations of the story, and I would hate to see Jean Grey go away forever. Like Dark Phoenix Saga is amazing. It occupies its own special space in comic book history. But it is sad if you see characters just permanently taken out of rotation. So I don't get mad when they bring them back. How many times has Wolverine died? But you know what? God bless that hairy Canadian man. We need him, I think.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
Look,
without a doubt.
As an angry, angsty 13-year-old, I needed Wolverine. I needed Wolverine in my life in all capacity. I needed to be like, yeah, I too am angry enough to slash metal. Like,
That's true. That's all he does, right? That's all he does.
That's how I talk to 13, apparently.
This is Jesse's YouTuber voice. That was his real voice. He doesn't really use it very often.
Hello, this is how I talk in real life. And then, my real voice is like, oh, jeez. I can't wait to splash metal. Oh, boy.
It's true. This is all exactly
I've been putting on this voice for years because I didn't want people to judge me.
That's true.
But now I can be true to myself.
Yeah. Someone in the chat, Escovan1 in my chat, was saying that apparently that moment with Spider-Man and Tony Stark was all improvised. That was not in the original script. That was something that Tom Holland like riffed on, and then they went back and changed a couple things to make it work. So
I'm really curious about the timeline of Spider-Man and the way they fleshed out the Tony Peter story, just because I don't know if any of you follow the rumor mill this week about like Spider-Man movies.
There's a lot,
but apparently they were gonna be like totally different, and a lot was changed. But those Spider-Man movies that we got, because Spider-Man in his own movie kind of plays second fiddle to Tony.
Yeah,
him getting snapped in Avengers, I thought was a more powerful moment. I don't know. I have a lot of curious questions about behind the scenes stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I hope that because we've been getting like the making of stuff now at the end of we got one with WandaVision. We're getting one with Falcon and Loki and all that stuff, and Black Widow, I think, as well. I hope they go back and like do those old movies and talk about things that they, were going to change or things that were originally. Honestly, what I want is just like a 2-hour podcast with Kevin Feige of like, what did this like talk about the different ways that this could have gone.
I feel like
that's he's the
like
man that knows
20
everything,
years.
right? So
I feel like that's in 20 years though, when like he's
Sure.
out and can say truths and not just like, let me tell you what Disney would like me to say.
Yeah.
I feel like we need some time to pass before he's like, all right, here's the dirt. Here's what happened.
Yeah. It'll be a sad day when he steps away from the MCU at large, because I don't know of anyone that can do what he has done at this point. It's pretty remarkable for sure. But anyways, jumping real.
I don't know, the Russo brothers.
But that's
I had to troll. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so chaotic.
Very chaotic. Jeez. Going back real quick to the Shang-Chi trailer, I just wanted to mention I'm actually very excited for Awkwafina being in this movie, only because I watched Raya and The Last Dragon, and she was fucking remarkable in that movie and stole that entire movie and made that movie happen for me. So I cannot wait for her to kind of continue that role of sidekick, funny character, and I hope she sticks around for a very long time.
She is lovely.
She's great.
Yeah.
She's
Am I the
fantastic.
only one who doesn't like her voice?
Really?
I mean, it's
hard for me.
like,
I don't know why.
Is it the
I
scratchy
know
bit?
Can't help. Yeah, her voice. It's hard for me because it's so scratchy.
It is like a I've been smoking every day for 85 years voice.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But it also in my mind, like, I like people who have flavor, right? Like there's something about them that's a little off. And so with her, I love the fact that she just doesn't sound like anyone else.
That's
I'm
fair.
like, I love that about you, that I know I recognize who you are immediately.
Yeah.
And I think that's unique. So I love uniqueness in people and actors.
It's true.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She was also great in Crazy Rich Asians, another fantastic movie. If you have not seen that, for sure. So
I'm excited for Michelle Yeoh.
I mean, there's a lot of great actors for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What I'm trying to think. Why do I know that name, Bronze? Why are you excited for Michelle Yeoh? Tell me.
Okay, so she was in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. That's probably the biggest one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was in a lot of like martial arts movies back in the day. And then there's that one movie where she's like training to do this jumping puzzle. It's like this really cheesy 90s
she was also
movie.
In Crazy Rich Asians. Huh.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. Somebody in chat will know, I'm sure. There's like this movie where her dad is training her from a young age to like basically do this elaborate jumping puzzle. It's like Jumping Puzzle the movie. And then she was also in Super Cop.
Oh, she
was.
Yeah.
You're about to make me look up Jumping Puzzle the movie. Like somehow I'm gonna.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out like which that would be, because I'm looking at her IMDb. She was in Sunshine.
Silverhawk. Knew somebody in chat knew. Silverhawk.
What is it?
Silverhawk from 2004.
Was it Silverhawk? No, that's not the one. Chat,
Silverhawks is an anime from 1986. That's pretty good.
It's a Hong Kong science fiction action film, is what Silverhawk is. With her lightning-fast motorcycle and hard-hitting martial arts skills, Silverhawk is the worst nightmare of criminals all over Polaris City. Oh. We got to figure out the jumping puzzle movie.
The Touch.
Is that it?
It's called The Touch. Yep.
Siblings Yanfei and Yue Tong are the star performers in a traveling acrobatic troupe. One day, Eric, a man who has apprenticed with their late father, shows up in possession of a storied ancient artifact. After Yue Tong pilfers the item and heads for the countryside, her sister and Eric give chase, but soon realize they are being pursued by a wealthy art collector, Carl, and his murderous goons.
And they have to do a jumping puzzle to beat it. And she's like a trained acrobat. Okay, The movie's plot itself is very stupid, but
Seems
when I was young, I was obsessed with this movie and the things she does in that movie. Big fan.
big fan.
Big fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Add it to your list. Check it out.
Yeah. She's just fabulous.
Yeah.
I just learned that I just learned that the movie, upon initial release, they didn't finish all the visual effects, and it wasn't until the DVD they finished them all.
For which? The Touch?
This movie, The Touch.
Oh.
They didn't finish all the visual effects, and they just released the movie, and then they're like, I guess Miramax came in and added the rest of the digital effects for the DVD release.
Yeah, it
That's
wasn't
so
great.
weird.
Nice.
I think it was
Nice.
one of those things when I was
Bronze
young.
is
I felt-
reeling it back now.
Well, I didn't say I loved the movie. I said I loved her in it.
Sure. We get it. We understand. We get where you're going. Oh, man. Silver. Check it out. It's good. And the truth. What else? There's one last bit, not necessarily rumored. There was just a photo that came out of the Thor Love and Thunder set with these three cool looking guys just hanging out, looking cool. Matt Damon, Chris Hemsworth, and director Taika. Just chilling.
They actually filmed nothing. They just all came and posed for that, and that was
That's
it.
all this was. That's all the reason
Also-
Matt Damon's there.
Also, I just want to say, I know. Look, I'm not judging the beautifulness of Taika Waititi.
Okay.
Not even remotely going to go there. But
Okay.
I love everything. This photo reminds me of like every college photo where there's like the two bro dudes, and then they're like dorky friend who's like in it, like I'm cool too, dudes. It has that vibe, and I love everything about this photo. It's like the two guys who are like, yeah, we know we're cool, and then like, I also am a cool one. I love it. It has that vibe to me. I've seen this photo a million times growing up. This is a great photo.
There you go. That's the photo.
Oh,
I'm just getting
well,
upset
no.
here looking at Chris. That's all. Mr. Hemsworth is the gene
The man
pool's
has-
That
kind to
man
him.
can
Yeah, like Jesus,
truly wear a cardigan.
fucking asshole
His-
over here.
Man
I
has
feel
got
like
a
if
chiseled
99%
everything.
of people wore that, they would look like idiots, but he wears it and it's high fashion.
It's bullshit. That's what that is.
No way. I'm gonna start rocking a cardigan, and everyone's gonna. I'm gonna bring it down for him. I'm gonna take him down. Like
Are
when
you
your
gonna wear
dad,
that cardigan?
when your dad discovers music that you love and is like, it's good. I'm gonna ruin this for everyone. I'm gonna start wearing cardigans and be like, what? I'm rocking it. What? Yeah, it's gonna happen.
I actually think you could rock a cardigan, Jesse.
I know I could. I think I'd be very good in a cardigan. There's
Just get
a lot
like a
of stuff I
smoking
could do.
jacket, Jesse. I think you could the smoking jacket.
I own
be
a
great.
smoking jacket. I do a whole show in a smoking jacket.
You should.
Don't you worry.
You should.
I have one.
It'd work.
Yeah.
It'd work.
I'm interested what this photo means, because the movie, my assumption was we weren't going to get a lot of actual Thor. Well, not Thor. Thor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like OG. I don't know. I don't know what I assume this movie's going to be. I guess I have no clue. My thought it was supposed to be like, what's happening on Earth with the Asgardians versus like Thor's out in space. So the fact that they're all on set, maybe they just came to like hang out. I don't know. But Matt Damon's part of it. I don't know.
Well, Matt,
I don't know.
I mean, Loki's gone, right, in this universe. So
I mean, we'll find out.
he might.
a few-
Maybe like,
Months,
all
we'll
right,
find out.
we're gonna have you're friends with your brother in this universe, and we need you to monitor it. Blibbity blop blop, right? And then he just shows back up. That would be an interesting and funny scene to see. Maybe not funny. Maybe it'd actually be quite sad and depressing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's
Loki's death was
very
definitely the
intriguing.
most grisly.
Yeah, it was.
That was great, though. That was a great way to start that movie. It was like, oh no, this is gonna be bad. Yeah, I was ready.
Yeah, it definitely like set the tone for sure. I mean, in a lot of ways, I thought it was. I'm more into like a sad / depressed, but not like a Fat Thor thing. Just like the scene. I always think about the scene.
Fat Thor all day. OG Fat Thor.
You're
Bring him
you're
back.
into Fat Thor. I mean, I
Oh
don't
my
mind the
God.
appeal
It's
of
like
that, like the look.
ridiculous beard
That's
that
fine.
when he gets
Yeah.
lightning channeled into him suddenly ends up braided. I need more of that Thor. I
Yeah.
need more of like, I guess I'll fight. Braided beard.
That
Like, I
that
want
that was what. As long as we don't like, I don't want to see Thor like playing Fortnite anymore with Taika, right? Like in the Korg or whatever.
No one wants to see that. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah. That
no
was
one
a
wants to
one
see that.
scene. But I do think like the scene between Thor when he's with Rocket Raccoon going back in time with his mom from the different timeline, like that type of Thor. That type of Thor is great. I'd love to see the like sad / serious, but also still kind of comical. That type of Thor, but who knows? We'll see when the actual movie comes out, or when I guess a trailer comes out, because I think that was last week's show, or the first week's show, where there's a lot that they're doing in that movie. That the story that they're trying to tell is pretty difficult. So we shall see. We shall see. You guys want to talk about
I'm
that?
still trying to sort through my feelings through Fat Thor.
Oh yeah, you're not
There's
sure
only
where you
one feeling
stand.
to have. There's only one feeling to have.
I
Fat
mean,
Thor.
Mhm.
He's so beautiful. Deep down.
Oh, I don't have an issue with that. I think it's more like there was parts of it where I felt like it was played off as a joke when I
Yeah.
think it could have been a moment of like it could have had a little bit more of a somber tone to it where everyone was like, "Ha ha, Thor's fat," versus like, "Yo, he's going through it." And I kind of like that he maintains that physique and still brings the hammer down, relatively speaking. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of like that they weren't like, "Oh, he's immediately fit, six-pack abs again and he's
Right.
kicking ass," because it's like even in this state he's not lessened, he's still Thor. But it did feel in certain places where it's like, "Ha, look at him, he's depressed and fat. Look at this pathetic man." And I'm like, "Yo, he's going through it." Who among us, I mean, how many of you have gained weight during the pandemic? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's I don't know. I think it could have been a moment for them to have something like I wish they had played it as less of a
A goof, a
like
comical joke type deal.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 Because
They
I
definitely
feel
made
like
light
it's
of it.
sometimes like yeah.
Which is that's kind of what I was saying, like the moments when moments where they truly show how sad he is, but how like also on the reverse side how happy he is when he's like talking to his now in his timeline mother who passed away, and yeah, those scenes were great. And I guess it could be argued that because they did make light of his situation in the other moments, that those moments were more impactful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of agree with you. It did suck that they made like light of a lot of that.
That
Stuff
is
initially.
like it is a very interesting take in that if you do look at those movies, like from the get-go, everyone he knows and loves is like his entire society is destroyed
Oh, he's
going into it.
yeah,
Mhm.
And then his brother is killed, and then like his friends are killed, and then like he Jane doesn't ever want to talk to him again. Like going into it, they do play it for comedy, but I feel like they decided they had to because like his story is so depressing. It's like everything that happened to that man sucks, and so I think that is also what makes when he goes to see his mom, like when she's like, "Yo, you've had a rough couple years, dude." I think it makes that scene all the better. But yeah, you're totally right. That yeah, he's going through
He's
it.
going
And
through
yeah,
it.
man. We've
Yeah.
referenced this line on the show, but the line that Thor said, I'm reading the direct quote from IMDb. I went and looked it up. Thor says, "I'm 1,500 years old. I've killed twice as many enemies as that, and every one of them would have rather killed me than not succeeded. I'm only alive because fate wants me alive. Thanos is just the latest of a long line of bastards, and he'll be the latest to feel my vengeance. Fate wills it so." And Rocket goes, "And what if you're wrong?" And Thor says, "Well, if I'm wrong, then what more could I lose?" Like that, like it's insane that line is that well written, and
Yeah.
encapsulates everything around that character, up until that point of that's from Infinity War, I think, right before he
It
makes
is like
the weapon.
it is so like I never in the history of any of these films have I retroactively looked back at Thor's character because most of the time when I think of Thor, I think like how I didn't like the first two movies at all.
Yeah,
I was like, you're
Yeah,
all
yeah.
right. But like Thor always was like, even in the comics, I was like, he's a fun addition when he shows up and other people's stuff. But like, I'm not a big Thor guy, and it's interesting to see Thor handle loss and grief, and how they chose to deal with it in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where it's kind of like poked fun. It's not poked fun. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like they clearly
It's
had
light.
to navigate.
Yeah,
they had to
lighthearted.
navigate how to like have a god deal with, like, you know, they were like, he's a god, he's perfect, so let's make him not perfect, which I think is a fun concept. But it's also one of those things that, like, yeah, even moving forward, if you throw him in with the Guardians crew, like, he still lost everything. So I have no clue, like, you know, how they move with that character, if they just like, no, he's just silly Thor again. But I don't know, like, he's still like, nothing changed. He still lost everything. He just helped kill the guy that, you know,
well,
took everything from him. I don't know.
You bring all that up, and it just crossed my mind. Like, if they go with the idea or with the storyline that Jane gets cancer, that could be real fucking dark.
Darker. Yeah,
that
dude.
could be really fucking dark, right? Like, yeah, we'll see.
But again, I think that's also.
I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna follow that story arc.
I think if they do, it's gonna be like red goo sickness. You know, they're gonna lower the stakes from reality.
Yeah, the Infinity Stone sickness or something. Yeah.
Because that's gonna hit, especially with, you know, Chadwick Boseman's passing. I just think that's gonna hit way too close to home for way too many people.
That's true.
You know. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's up for debate, like, where it could be like, okay, well, that's an important part of Jane Foster's storyline, so removing that would be a disservice, and we have to keep it in. But I mean, I've lost my grandmother and my aunt to cancer, and it's like one of those things where it's like, reading that comic was rough.
Sure.
It's just rough. And so with a comic, you can like put it down and like, so like, are they, if they do it, are they going to put a content warning on it? Because that's not one of those things I think you spring on people in the movie theater. Like, oh, by the way, here's an extended plot line of someone slowly dying, you know, from cancer. Have fun with that. Like, I think that's something you definitely need to warn people about, like, going into it. Because a lot of times
you haven't seen like that in a while.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to handle it. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. It's tough.
I don't think Disney would ever give us like a movie that would, you know, like, I don't think we'll see a cancer story. I just don't. From Disney, I don't think that's going to happen.
I would have, this is somewhat of a transition, but it's framing how I look at the MCU now. With the latest episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Disney might as well fucking just go head on, right? Like, the episode 5, they just, they don't fuck around with a lot of commentary on they just went like straight into it. And so with that in mind, maybe they're done, like, you know, skirting around that type of stuff, and they just go straight into it. We'll see. You never know.
I wonder if it does feel to me like, because they have such a big, I don't know if soapbox is the right word, but they have such a big platform where everyone knows these movies, everyone knows this cinematic universe, everyone around the world. Like, you can watch countless videos on YouTube of people reacting to the end of Endgame from around the world, like from like every part of the world. And so I wonder if now that there's such a big platform and now they've reached so many people, that there has to be someone at, you know, Marvel or Disney or someone who's like, hey, it is behooving to us to do, like, we have to like, you know, if we have a soapbox, we can have like a good message in our movie that's like a right thing. I don't know, you know, like I said, Disney shies away from a lot.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a lot of like universally like easy messages to get out. Like, you know, there's things you can say and most people will be like, yes, agreed. Right. And I think at the same time, you can also be like, hey, we're gonna have a conversation for an entire episode about like some race stuff, get ready and expect like some parts of the internet are going to be mighty pissed about this, but you know, we're fine.
Yeah.
We're fine with it.
I didn't dive
And I
into
think
the
that's
internet
I
being
think it's
pissed at that.
let me tell you.
In the back of my head, I was like, oh yeah, someone's probably upset about this, but I'm sure it exists. Sure it exists. But yeah, let's jump into episode 5. The rumor mills were kind of light this past week. I think Shang-Chi rather was the big thing with the trailer dropping this morning.
You were right though. You were right. You told me that you're like, Shang-Chi's coming out. We're gonna have something to talk about. I was like, no way. Here we are. Yeah.
It happens. It happens. Episode 5 entitled Truth. God, there was a lot. I watched this episode last night. I did not watch it Friday or Saturday. PoE came out and claimed my life for the past 36 hours or 48 hours. And so I watched it last night, and so it's still fresh in my mind. There's a lot in this episode. It was a huge episode.
An hour long? Something like that is crazy.
I didn't even know that it was like that makes perfect sense to me that it was longer, like actual running minutes longer. I didn't feel like it was quote long, like it kept going. There was just so much shit that happened across this episode. We'll go through it kind of chronologically and then discuss it as one. So it starts off and we're right after the scene that ended episode 4, after he killed the man with the shield. It's got blood all over it, and we're kind of alone with Walker in kind of a rundown building, so to speak. And right from the get-go, what like a performance, I think, from that actor whose name I'm blanking on right now. It was just amazing. Like he was just in there by himself, carried the whole fucking scene. And continued to carry the scene as soon as Sam and Bucky showed up. Yeah, Wyatt Russell. There we go. Absolutely, nailed that moment of just like what the fuck happened. Talking to himself, a little tinge of he's going crazy, like he's freaking the fuck out as he probably should be. He knows what he's done is like going to completely screw him from here on out. And then Sam and Bucky show up and he's like, you're not taking this fucking shield, right? Like I will fucking die right here before you take the shield. And the other thing that I love is that they kept the blood on the shield the entire fight. And like did close up shots of the shield the entire fight with the blood on there. It was a very awesome way to open up the episode, I felt. And Wyatt Russell just completely nailed the acting portion of it. I thought that was a great way to start the show. And even like the little title card reveal was like somber. It wasn't like to this like grand entrance of music. It was just like, all right, that happened. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and now we're gonna go something else. What did you guys think of the opening? Well, Bronze, we'll start with you.
You could pause every frame of like I want to say the first 5 minutes of that episode and make wallpapers out of it.
Yeah.
They were very grandiose in the framing of every shot, and I appreciated it. It was not lost on me. There was like several like just parts you could just screen cap it and it's like a desktop wallpaper. So I think my favorite thing about that scene was, for me, it humanized that character a lot in the sense of how painful that has to be. And how in his own way he kind of is Captain America-esque, because there's a moment where he's kind of broken and he's on his knees and then he says, okay, back to work. Like the way he compartmentalizes, I think it really just puts this like line in the sand that we were talking about on the first episode of MCU Crew, when I was talking about how like, oh, well, Steve Rogers was a good man. John Walker is a good soldier. Like, just like a soldier, like he's been taught to just, do the work, and let's unpack this later. And I'll get into why I think that was like a really strong theme later on in the episode. But yeah, I think it was beautiful. And I think it also, in that moment, like, seeing Bucky and Sam be like, you know what, this is ours.
Yeah.
You also get their upset. They're like, and there's like this entire part where it's like that type of stain doesn't come off. Because even when the shield is handed to Sam, he just smears it around. Like,
Yeah. Blood's impossible to get out, right?
yeah, like cleaning, like this isn't something that's just gonna go away or wipe off. Like, this is something that's gonna have to be corrected in some way,
Yeah. The entire scene is filled with so much symbolism, from him like ripping off his wings to the idea that like Bucky fought alongside Cap against Iron Man in Civil War in that same scenario of a fight. So like Bucky's been there, right? Like he knows how to handle this
Mhm.
fight. I also love a lot of times in fight scenes, they always do the like, oh, I'm going to move at the last moment and I miss and like destroy the wall or something behind you, like that moment. And this one, it showed like, oh, fuck, Bucky is not messing around. He just ripped that thing. And it was like a steel girder or some shit that just got ripped
Mhm.
completely in two. Like he was not pulling his punches whatsoever. It was out for blood there.
It was
And
also kind of interesting to like piggyback off your point of like we've seen Winter Soldier and Captain America fight together. The synergy between Bucky and Sam is not the same as the synergy between Steve and Bucky, and we really see that in this scene because
yeah,
let's be real, they get the dog shit beaten out of them.
they do. Yeah.
And to think that these two do like, this like that synergy isn't there. Like they fight well individually, but they're still trying to feel out fighting well together, which I kind of like. It's not something that, you can't fake the funk.
Yeah, exactly. You cannot fake the funk. That is a way to put that. For sure. I think they kind of get it together in terms of their like the final move, right? Where
Mhm.
he like runs at the shield on one side and
Yeah.
yeah, that was a great scene. And then the arm pop was also just like, Jesus fuck. Like that was I was not expecting that to be as violent and as in your face as it was when it happened. It was definitely a lot for sure. Jesse, what's your take on the opening scene of episode 5?
I mean, I think the two of you explained pretty much why it's so impactful. I mean, I think the one thing that seemed very obvious is the moment that they were like, "Come on, dude, give us the shield," and he was like, "Oh, I see." I knew that moment was happening. I saw it coming a mile away because, of course, he doesn't see, because he's compartmentalized, because he can cut off parts of himself. He then sees them being like, "Dude, just give us the shield," like you're done being Captain America. He doesn't see that the reasoning behind it. He sees them being like, "We've come back for the shield that we gave you, and you've always wanted the shield, and now you're trying to take it from me."
Yeah.
Like that kind of vibe. I think they've done a very good job of making him a character who is both incredibly flawed, but also a character who you're kind of like, I know he's a bad dude, but like I feel really sorry for him. Like there's something about him that's sad.
Oh yeah,
Like
dude.
really,
Yes.
and it's not like, I don't want to say pathetic, but there's like something about him that's like a very sad, like he's been through it. And I think the scene later where he just yells at Congress, I'm like, yeah, like I get why this guy's like, I devoted my life to y'all, and this is how you treat me. And I think that he, Bronze is right. He's this perfect soldier, and he's a great weapon to be pointed at stuff, but he's not like, he doesn't have the ability to just be like, I need to determine what like a good person would do. He's like, I'm gonna get the job done. Like that's
Yeah.
it. He's like, I'm gonna get the job done, and the job will be finished, and I'll move on. And Cap would sit there and like think way too long on a subject and get in his own head about stuff. Like that's what made Steve Rogers great, is because he would, he wasn't a soldier at all by any means. He
Yeah.
was like, if anything, the first Avenger movie taught me he was a terrible soldier. Surely he didn't follow any orders. He did his
Yeah.
own thing.
Yeah. He followed
He
his
was
moral
very
compass.
bad at it.
Yeah.
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 So
I think that also plays into like everyone treats Walker like a soldier, so he kind of has to be one. Because even
Yeah.
in that moment, they're like Sam is doing the Sam thing where he's really good at like counseling vets, right?
Yeah.
But then he's like, and it's working, and then he's like, but I need that shield. And there's this moment where you realize, like, he's not here to check in on, hey, Walker, how you doing, buddy? That was crazy. What happened? He's like, give me the shield. And as soon as Walker realizes that he's like a weapon to be disarmed, kind of as a parallel to Bucky, we see how he is having the opposite journey that Bucky's having. You know, in some ways, where Bucky's becoming like less like a weapon to be pointed at something, and Walker's becoming more like a weapon to be pointed at something. Because I felt for him in that scene. I was like, oh, there's a moment where it's like, oh, they're actually being really nice to him? Did they come here to chat? And then it's like, no, they didn't. They came here for the shield.
There's the exact reason why they're there is the shield. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know there's gonna be people that are like, oh, you don't feel any empathy for the person that he killed, and it's like, I do, but I think he's like a victim, and you could be a victim and also be a
Absolutely.
Totally. They nailed that. Like the fact that he quite literally killed a man moments before this and in the episode before this. And a lot of this episode has me like, he's not that bad of a guy, guys. Like he just got a shit. It's the government that did this to him, right? Like he was just follows his orders the entire, like that type of rhetoric in my head. Like, yeah, it was very well done.
There's like a weird disconnect in superhero sagas where it's like we watched a guy kill a man and the result was like, damn, like we got to take this guy's shield. What a bad guy he is. But if you go back to, I don't know, like I think it's the beginning of Winter Soldier where they go on that boat and Cap like murders 80 dudes with his shield.
Well, I thought about that too. Yeah. Like, but the thing is that
but he did it for good reasons. Like it's an interesting dichotomy in like what we see. I don't know.
Yeah. It also wasn't filmed and it also didn't have like quite literally the blood stain that occurred. Yeah. So it's a great foreign policy take, right? If you think about the real world, they're making a lot of statements without saying anything. 100%, right? Like
I mean, like how many people did Sam kill in episode 1? I remember talking about like just I was like blowing up planes. Like those people are dead. Those people are dead. We could sit here and pretend that they're not, but those helicopters that Sam blew up, those people are freaking dead. I think it's part of it's like the visceralness of it, like that he beats him to death with the shield. Like I think that's part of it. And I think, but it's like, I don't know. And I think it's being in a public forum that the victim was defeated, like the person was defeated. They had their hands up. But I don't think we can make the argument that, oh, other superheroes haven't murdered people. They 100% have. Like it's that this dude was on the floor asking for mercy and he got.
But that's also like a superhero trope too, where there's the bad guy, he's on the floor and he's like, mercy, please. Then the last me like pulls out a gun and then they kill him anyway. And it's like, well, he pulled out his gun, so I had to kill him. He's like, he's still down on the ground. He just like one last time tried. He tried one last, you could have just knocked his gun away and been like, bitch, no. And then arrested him anyway, but you killed his ass that time. That time you killed him. It happens all the time in movies. All I'm saying is the difference is very slim. Like, oh, he was going to kill me. He was going to kill you the entire time. He just tried one last time when he was on the ground. Just knock his weapon away and don't kill him that time. Everyone's like, no, that's when you take him out. Right? I'm just saying, very slim. Very slim difference.
A lot of real world parallels for sure.
No, I agree with that. I mean that comes into scene with the court scene Jesse was talking about too, where it's like, if he had done this behind closed doors, would anybody have given a shit? My vote is no. Mm-mm. I think if he had done that behind closed doors, people would have been like, that's fine.
Well, yeah, they just wouldn't talk about it. They just move forward, which a lot of real world parallels, right? Like the fact that quite literally everyone had their phone around that fountain when he killed them is like the most real world parallel that shit is probably not that episode, but in the real world for, 1,000 years, there's been awful shit that people have done, but no one was able to pull out a recording device and, present that to the rest of the world. And in that very moment, we saw that, right? Like this image of America and like the shield being there and everything that represents in the MCU and all that, just in a single act, completely gone, right? They didn't really get into that aspect of it. But I hope they do, right? Like I hope they talk about how much that there was a little bit of it when was it Torres, the Falcon's mechanic that is New Falcon potentially. Yeah, if the comics are anything to go by, yeah, he talked a little bit about it, but yeah, it was a very remarkable thing to occur, and then the way that this episode opens up was a awesome way to like get you inside the head of the person rather than like the act of everything that happened in a lot of ways. So that fight happens, all that crazy imagery that happened occurred in there. And then after the credits, we go straight to Zemo, who is in Sokovia at the monument that he was talking about in like episode 3, episode 4, something like that.
Yeah, where he's like, "Have you seen the monument?" Of course you haven't. Yeah.
And Bucky shows up, and there's an exchange of words. I didn't quite get, and I will probably understand on the second watching, and hopefully you guys can just explain it to me right now. What was the whole deal with him like not having the bullets in the gun? Was that like a callback to what Black Panther did at the end of Civil War, where like he gave up on vengeance and was just like, I'm done, I'm gonna move past this? Is that what that was? Was that like a don't kill anyone rule number 2, showing like progression of Bucky's character? What were they, was it all of that? What were they going for there, do you think?
Where he dumps the bullets out.
Well,
like, I'm not sure.
He shot him, but there was nothing in it, meaning like he
Right,
was
like,
done with vengeance, I guess, or done with.
I think that's. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that's what that symbolism was, especially considering that he tried to kill himself at the end of Civil War, right? Where and the punishment is not his death. The punishment is him like living with what he's done. I think that I don't quite understand the whole like slow-mo bullet drop.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
I feel like it was like sort of like we're at like this is hey. I didn't even have that shit loaded, dog. I don't like you'll face justice on the raft. Like I don't truly know what that was about. I also was hoping like maybe someone knew like, oh, that's a flashback to this movie where a thing happened. I don't know.
Yeah. A lot of people
I
in
thought
chat
it was like,
oh, go ahead, Bronze.
I thought it was like he kind of motions to the gun at the beginning of that scene, and he's like, you understand what needs to be done or whatever. Because I think he made a very big character judgment, considering like, oh yeah, he's got the gun in his hand, he's still a killer. And I think him holding the bullets was more like, yeah, it was more of like you don't know me. Like he finally kind of like outmaneuvered Zemo a little bit there, because Zemo's been one step ahead of them this entire time, right?
Yeah.
Like he's kind of, and I think like that was Bucky's moment to be like, yeah, you don't know shit. You don't know me. You thought because I had the gun in my hand that, and it's like at any point I could kill you if I wanted to. That was the other thing I took away from it. And I haven't. So I'm not the killer you think I am. I thought it was twofold, where it's like, if I wanted you dead, you would be dead, and you're not. So stop saying that this is, Sam is a different person than I am, that I could never be that. Like, because if I wanted to murk you, I would.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
And thankfully, they did not kill him, because I'm looking forward to the scene where he escapes from the raft.
Well, yeah, like that. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that scene.
He already said before the Dora Milaje showed up, he's like, yeah, I've got a plan, and we'll figure it out. And then they show up and they're like, we're taking him to the raft. And I was like, you motherfuckers think that he's not already figured out how to get out of there? He's got the blueprints in his head.
The minute they weren't like, we're gonna take him back to Wakanda, I was like, nah, this guy's already free.
Yeah.
He's already free.
Yeah. And that ties into the idea that Ross runs the raft. The Thunderbolts are run by Ross. Zemo's going to the raft. That might be a thing.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus shows up.
Yeah. We'll talk about that. I do want to mention the scene with once again with Walker in front of the They don't really say like what the committee is. I guess the committee is maybe how they refer to it.
An oversight, something of some sort.
Yeah. The council, another amazing scene, incredibly acted by Wyatt Russell once again. And I love the fact that he was just like, you motherfuckers made this, like made me. I did everything that I did because of y'all. How do you like, and their way of like the nod to that was like, yeah, you're just going to be dishonorably discharged. You're not going to jail. You're not going to have any military rank after we kick you out. But like,
you get no benefits. That's
no
the
benefits.
biggest move of all.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was like the parallels there to the real world are just so, yeah, it was a lot. It was a great scene, and very well done by both the writers and the actors all involved.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that entire moment. And then after that, while he's sitting there talking to his wife and they're trying to figure out what the fuck's going on, Miss Dreyfus shows up. And
by the way, just shout out to his wife really quick.
Yeah.
I love the way that Walker's wife, she does a thing that I do quite frequently, which is like how to get through stressful shit. She's like, all right, let's just break it down. Step 1, do this. Step 2. And I was like, yo, that's a Jesse Cox strategy right there. Get it, lady. Get it, lady. Yeah. Oh, that's such like a very solid life advice, especially coming from your wife where she's like, dude, I know shit's messed up right now. Like, let's just, first thing we do,
let's figure it
go
out.
Talk to your dude's family. Like, second thing, let's go do this thing. I'm like, coming in clutch. Like, all right. Good support system.
Yeah.
I love this. Yeah.
I hope that
fascinating.
I hope that she sticks around enough to be that moral compass that Lamar was, right? Like, he needs her in his life more than anything right now, in so many ways. But
sure,
we'll see, right? Like, I don't know. Well, the next episode might be a little bit stressful, I guess we could say.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Yeah. But yeah, Miss Dreyfus shows up, or as she's called in this show, Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine.
Big
Which
nerds
also,
know that name.
I think her appearance also leans towards Thunderbolts.
Yes, I thought so too. I thought, because I went and researched because I didn't know that much about this character or who this character could be. And there's so many different things that she could be. She could be like the next Madam Hydra. She could be like the head of the Thunderbolts. She could like Phil Ross's role. She could just straight up be like some CIA person. There's a lot going in.
Well, apparently I had to research too, because I was like, whoa, that came out of nowhere.
Yes, I just
thought she was Nick Fury's girlfriend. That's what I remember her as. And then so I had to like look some stuff up too, because I was like, isn't that Fury's main squeeze?
Yeah.
And it was, yeah. But apparently, like, so I thought she was a SHIELD agent, but then apparently she crossed over, or she double crossed SHIELD to be in Hydra, but then she double crossed Hydra. And I mean, her specialty is putting together teams. Like, that's something, because she did the she's put together a team before. I'll just say that.
Okay.
I think it's the is it Fem Force? Oh goodness.
That's what someone in my chat says.
Force 5.
I remember her putting together a team. She's done so successfully before. She's like one of those that really, even when we find out what she is, we can't take that at like face value, because she will probably betray that if her character is anything like what it is in the comics, because she just, and then I also remember her flirting with people in the comic books, and like Nick, that being like a big issue with Nick Fury, because she's a femme fatale, which probably makes 100%. Sense with Femme Force.
She could also be a Skrull, right? That's
another
thing in the comics. Like in the comics,
you can say that about anybody.
Yeah, but like I think she had a bigger role from what I was reading. But yeah,
apparently I was like, she came out of she came out of nowhere.
Yes,
and so I in doing the research, I think she was supposed to be in. We were supposed to know who she was first.
Yes,
she was supposed to be in a Black Widow.
She is in Black Widow, apparently.
That was supposed to come out first, so that when she shows up in this, we'd all be like, oh, and so I think now everything's a little reversed. But I'm fine going oh when she shows up
When
in
she
Black
shows,
Widow.
yes,
So whatever.
same here. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But it was definitely the type of thing where I didn't know that was coming. I didn't get spoiled by the fact that she shows up in the show. So like watching last
That was
night,
neat.
and both me and I were just like, the fuck? Why is she in this? What the hell is she doing? She did make
Such a
note.
cool entrance too.
Oh, incredible entrance! And it's just like the essence of cool when she like hands the wife the like card and then keeps talking and then there's nothing on
There's
the
like
card.
nothing on the card. I was like,
It's just a black and white card. Like, yeah, it was
Mhm.
incredible. Yeah. So the what I was gonna say is I think it was People Magazine or something from like a year ago. She actually hinted that she would love to be a Disney villain. And at the time, I think those scenes had already occurred, or she had already filmed those, but she didn't say anything. She was like, "Yeah, I think it would be awesome to just be like in Disney and be a villain or something like that." And so they like dropped that hint literal years ago, and no one caught on to what who knows what that could be. But if she's a villain, then I kind of am with Bronze here, especially if she's talking to like quote unquote U.S. agent. Got to be some Thunderbolt shit, right? Like, or some like deep CIA shit where he's gonna run a bunch of like black ops stuff for her. I don't know.
but even
Well, and the conversation she has leans towards that too.
Yes.
Because she says, wait for my call, almost like she's putting something together. Otherwise, she would have just told him right there, right? So that
Right.
to me leans towards a team. Number two, she literally says, like, I mean, you did the right thing. They just didn't want you to do it in public. Like, what if you just keep fighting the good fight in private? Like, I 100% think she's putting together a team and that he's going to be a part of it. I think the question is whether she's Hydra or whether it's going to be some Thunderbolts type of thing. But there was a small period of time in which the Thunderbolts operated out of Raft.
Yeah.
So it could, I mean, Zemo's already there. He just got sent to the Raft. Now we've got, the Contessa talking to John Walker. That's two members. I mean,
It's true. It's true. And we saw Baltrock show up at the end of this, but we'll get to that, right? Like he was a member of Thunderbolts as well. And maybe even Sharon shows up in there as well. Who knows?
Is Hydra officially gone in the MCU?
Are they ever? Like he cut one
I
off
mean,
and
very true. But I feel like the way they're telling the story, I mean, as much as I want to like a Madam Hydra, I feel like at this point, like even Zemo, it's like, look, we're not going to deal with Hydra. I don't know. I have no idea where Hydra stands in this universe. I feel like the assumption was that like we took them down because they were S.H.I.E.L.D. But maybe there's another Robot Man. Who I like don't know. I have no idea where it stands.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see what they do with it because they keep mentioning Hydra over and over and over again. I get Hydra's a huge part of the universe, but it's also like one of those things where they keep dropping like Hydra hints. It's like, well, all right, where are we going with this, guys?
Yeah.
Where's the end game on
WandaVision
Hydra?
had Hydra in there as well. So I almost feel like they're moving back towards it versus away from it.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is I feel like if Hydra shows back up in Phase 4, the power level has to be escalated, right? They can't just be like some fucking governmental goons, right? They got to have some like big hitters, some heavy hitters. They got to be doing some shit for it to otherwise mean anything. Because if not, it's just going to be like, oh, great, Hydra's back. 5 seconds later, okay, Hydra's dead. Let's move forward, right? Like they got to have some clout.
The current Thunderbolts that we have are not, they'll like, Walker and Zemo will never be Hydra. It's just not like in their characters in the MCU, they're 100% anti-Hydra. They're not going to be like, we'll let it slide this time. Like, no way. Those two dudes hate Hydra.
Yeah.
So like, I don't, the comics are clearly different, but the characters we have in the MCU are like, it wouldn't make sense if suddenly they're like, you now work for Hydra. They'd be like, oh, what? I don't know. Although it could be interesting that it's like, we're forcing you to work for Hydra. That could be like worth I don't know. Who knows? F it.
Yeah. We'll see.
Who knows?
Regardless, she's a great actress. I love anything that she's been in. outside of, I'm not the biggest Seinfeld fan. I loved her in Veep. I thought she was amazing in Veep, and so awesome. Love to see more of her, and probably will see more of her in the MCU for sure. After that scene, we get the potentially biggest moment, I think, in the episode when there's a little bit of a dialogue between before the scene, a little bit of a dialogue between Wilson and Torres, who kind of leaves the wingsuit with him to fix it, which might be kind of a nod to like, hey, you're the new Falcon now. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see see what happens in the next episode. Maybe it's going to be like a fusion, which we didn't talk about at all in the opening scene, but the combat that Falcon utilized with his suit being like in a enclosed space when he was like tripping up Walker or something like that and sliding around on the ground. Awesome. That type of stuff was great. I feel like they finally figured out how to make Falcon not just like a guy that can fly. Like that's a superpower in a lot of ways. So so he leaves his wingsuit with Torres, and then he goes and visits Elijah with the shield. And just a remarkable scene where like Sam is just kind of like there and he's there to like push Elijah through that scene so that he can say the powerful, meaningful shit. And I thought it was incredible. Like we get to learn everything that happened to him. We get to learn the fact that like it's all so fucked up. And they don't even like tip the hat at all. They just flat out say things that's like, oh no, this is why this is important to say this shit in the real world. Like there's no subtle messaging. It's just like blunt, right in your face. Awesome dialogue the entire scene. And I think that for me was like solidified as probably the best scene thus far in the show. I thought it was super well done. Jesse, I see your head spinning, and Bronze, go ahead. We'll let Jesse's head spin for a sec more.
Sure.
I think like the one of the saddest things with that Isaiah said that
Isaiah, not Elijah. Sorry.
That's like rooted in reality is when he said that they told him they were giving them tetanus shots, but it was like we act like in America there's actually a history of things like I'm sure Jesse can speak to that better because Jesse has a history background, but there's like stuff like that actually happened.
Sure.
Like experimental drugs given specifically to like, the Black community and Native American communities, stuff like that, that it's like, what the hell? Like, it's like super messed up. And so addressing that in the MCU, I think is good because I feel like one of the big themes of this episode is like, how can it's about legacy. It's about acknowledging, like, how do you wipe that shield clean? If we're not willing to talk about the bloody history of something, how are we going to wipe the blood from the shield? Like, I feel like that scene with Isaiah was like beginning to at least unpack some of that, which is like, because I know a lot of people are like, so what do we do then? Like, what? Just no Captain America? Just get rid of all? No, it's like, but how can we make this better if we don't acknowledge what already happened? We can't. But if people get upset at the acknowledgement, like, there's just no way to move forward from here. So I think like that scene was important, and I think it informs like, because I think sorry, I'm like all over the place here, but I feel like if they had just had Sam have the shield, people would have been like, oh, he didn't even earn it. Steve just gave it to him. He's not even Captain America. We want Steve back. Fuck this guy. Well, I didn't even like Sam,
In so many ways, too, I think you could take it a step further. And like the real assholes would say, oh, Disney just made Captain America black because
diversity
that's woke as fuck. Right? Like,
yeah.
That's what I thought the entire thing was the nail on the head, where they even quite up say like, they're not going to let Captain America be a black man. Like he quite literally says that in the show. And the fact
it was
that
like
they
a
did
nod to
it's like, holy fuck. Like They are
Yeah,
not
to say it
fucking
out
around.
loud.
Yeah. They said the
Yeah.
quiet part loud. Yeah, in a lot of ways. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that like have said that about comic book characters in like the comics where it just doesn't like where even if there's a reason and it makes sense, people still get upset or say that it shouldn't be that way. Like Captain Marvel exists, so there's space for Miss Marvel to exist as well. And it's like, oh, they made Captain Marvel, a Pakistani girl. Or anytime like there's
Totally.
like this natural passing of the torch. But when you have other characters like trade mantles or switch off, or you don't get that same backlash. But if it's a character that doesn't match the race of the OG character, then it's this big debacle. Even though we have, like I said, that torch passing all the time, and it's usually not a big deal. And so I think them saying like, or Isaiah saying specifically like, oh yeah, they're never gonna let Captain America be a black man, and that the reason that they accepted Steve Rogers is because he had blonde hair and blue eyes, and how upset that makes Sam in that moment. Because Sam's reaction is immediate defense. I think it was like that's fans' immediate reaction. It's like, well, I don't like Steve because he's white, and it's like, but sometimes confronting your bias of like, but why are you so hard set against Sam for no particular reason?
Yeah.
Give him a chance, and then be mad if you hate it. But just give him a chance. Like it was a really powerful scene. I really liked it.
Yeah. I agree. Jesse?
That historical context that you were talking about, Bronze, like, is one of the reasons why right now it's so incredibly difficult to get just the black community in general in the United States to like, hey, free vaccines, y'all. They're totally free. Just come on in. And they're like, nah. and like contextually, you have to understand that for years and years and years, the United States was like, yeah, we'll just test it on the black soldiers, or or just like people in a hospital or prisoners or whatever. That's like just the thing we did because
Yeah.
that's what the U.S. did. And so I think that being part of the history of a character who was a super soldier, who they're like, first up, we're gonna lock his ass up. We're gonna like test on him repeatedly, try and like find the serum. We're gonna hide his like wife from him. We're gonna say he's dead.
Just
We're
like
gonna hide his wife's death.
everything fucked
like,
up that you could think of.
Yes,
They
like
quite literally
every
do.
possible terrible thing.
Yeah.
So when he says no self-respecting black man would ever become Captain America, when he's flat out just says that, I think that's like it's a very powerful sentiment, because I feel like a lot of people, believe, and this goes for people across the spectrum of people who live in the United States, color, race, religion, whatever. A lot of people are like, why would I ever want to represent the U.S. government in some way, right? And because that's what Captain America is, you're a representation of like the United States. And so them saying to to the viewer, like dropping this bomb, like, why would Sam want to wear the mantle of Captain America? Goes to show, I think, a lot of great things about Sam as a person as well, because he doesn't see it as a negative thing. He recognizes all the terrible shit that will come by wearing, the outfit, but he also recognizes like what a great opportunity it is to sort of like I mean, even the scene later where Bucky is waking up and he sees the two nephews playing with the shield, and it's that vibe of just like, you have the opportunity to create something for future generations to look up to. I think that's what Sam sees, and it's kind of like that whole like, the past sucked, but we have to move towards the future, and I have to like, we're opening doors, and it's like, the whole episode I think is a very powerful statement about
Totally.
what it means to be a superhero, especially today, right? And I think they did a great job, and it's so crazy to me that this is what they did for this story, because it's a very like, this whole series has a lot of very powerful things in it, but the way Disney / Marvel does stuff is fascinating, because truly, if you don't see any of this, and we go from the end of Endgame to, let's say, the next movie, where I assume Sam's going to show up as Captain America, it really, you'd miss this story. But if you hadn't seen any of this, you'd still be like, oh, well, at the end, Cap gave him the shield, and now he's Captain America.
Right.
Like, the way they tell stories,
Yeah.
like, well,
It's a good
we've
point.
added, even with WandaVision, like, you don't need to see the WandaVision story arc to like appreciate the movies. But if you did, you now are like, I know more things. And I love the way they're doing the expanded universe on Disney Plus, where it's like, we're going to give you something, but if you miss out, it's not going to like affect the big picture. And there's not going to, but if you've seen it, you now appreciate what we're doing with the rest of it, which I think is what a good expanded universe should do. It shouldn't be like, like sometimes now video games release the story for the game in a book. And then you play the game, and you're like, I have no idea what's going on in this game. And you're like, well, did you read the book? I think that's garbage. I think it's like a terrible way to tell a story. And so I'm glad Disney's just like, we're going to tell you like some good ass stories, but you don't necessarily need them to be a part of this universe. I think that expands things to everyone who, no matter what age you are, you can appreciate the MCU for what it is. And so I noticed that as we were going through, I was like, oh yeah, 100%. Sam is going to be Captain America. But if you didn't see the story, you would just be like, yeah, he got it from Cap, and I'm cool with that. And you're moving on. It's interesting.
It's very well done.
They've done a good job with, if you know the beginning and end points, that they can still do stuff in the middle. Because sometimes if you know how a movie's going to end or how a show is going to end, it's really hard to do stuff in the middle that's impactful.
Yeah,
but I feel like they've had conversations that are quite frankly difficult to have, but needed to happen. And I mean, they even mentioned the Red Tails.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember I watched a lot of like World War II documentaries. I remember hearing it, but didn't like quite recall, and then looked it up. And yeah, they're used
great
to
movies.
Go deep
They're
into
great
enemy
movies.
lines.
All I'm saying is,
it was fantastic.
As a history nerd.
And the planes of the tails of the planes were painted red so they could identify them. They would go deep into enemy lines, and that was the Tuskegee Regiment, And what's crazy is like from there, if somebody was like, "What is the Red Tails?" Isaiah's referencing, they would get a history lesson that, quite frankly, they probably should have. But it was also a unique parallel in that he talks about how these people served bravely and came home and had crosses burning in their front yards, which is kind of, not to make it back about John Walker, but like, isn't a lot of this last episode about how we use people as guns to point them at other people, and then when they come back, we don't have a use for them anymore.
We discard them. Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because Walker is 100% abandoned by the very same people who trained him, who taught him protocol, who repeatedly threw him into these heated situations to where now he's traumatized. Now they don't want him anymore. They've stripped him of his pension. They've stripped him of all of his benefits. They've taken everything from him because being disassociated from him is the best thing for them.
Right.
And they did the same thing with Isaiah. Not being affiliated with him, hiding that legacy was the best thing that they could do. So we're seeing it happen like in real time. We're seeing how quickly the people in charge discard like the people that are no longer useful to them or that are inconvenient versus confronting the ugly truth, which is what should have happened in John Walker's case. It's what should have happened in Isaiah's case. And Sam is doing the work to confront that, which is actually really admirable. I think it 100% makes him worthy of being Captain America.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There was another, the more that I watch these shows and talk about them with you guys and listen to what chat's saying, I'd see the parallels between the rest of the MCU are just insane. Mabulon in my chat says the story that Isaiah describes about how he saved his friends. He escaped from prison. When he heard about it, he went and got them all back, and then they locked him up. It was 1-to-1 to the same exact story that happens in the first Captain America movie. He got imprisoned for 30 years. Steve became a hero.
Yep.
Like that to me is, thinking about that is just like so crazy, and so well done. That they're still making like subtle callbacks to everything to frame a bigger image, right? It's so well done.
That entire scene is very, like you were saying, it isn't just like we're going to, beat around the periphery of sort of like the history of race in America. It's like, we're going in.
Yeah.
Put on a diving suit. We're diving deep. We're going in. And they drop, like you were saying, Bronze, they drop all these little things where it's like, if you want to look up more, it's there. Like you can look up more and you can dive deeper. And I think that this was a great scene, but also the minute this scene happened, I just like the world we live in, I was like, oh boy, I'm going to log on to Twitter or some shit and see people be like,
I didn't do that.
Let me explain to you. And I was like, I knew it. The minute it happened, I was like, oh no, here we go. Because it's difficult. It's like hard for people to accept that like, hey, maybe maybe we did some really messed up shit. Like, people are like, never. What? No. It's like, y'all, let me tell you about MKO. Like, like, let me tell you about what America has done. Let me tell you the crazy shit we've done. People, they don't want to accept it because it's really difficult to think about when you like are taught as from a young age, especially as kids. Bronze, I don't know if you ever had this fun American like third grade, first grade, where it's like,
Yeah, I went to school here before I moved to India, so I've gone to American elementary school. It's hilarious.
Okay, all right.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't sure when you had your like, because you always talk about like, well, when I was in India, I did this. So I'm like, I'm not sure when
Yeah.
your schooling was different, but
It was
like
middle school, high school, but elementary school I did here, and I
so
remember.
Of course you know that it's like our founding fathers were the best people ever, and it's crazy the way they teach kids, but it's like simple. Where it's like super simple and children understand it. Like, good people made our country and we are good.
And we're the best.
So you don't have to think too much. Yeah.
And then I went to like middle school in India, and the first thing they said is like, Christopher Columbus is a bastard. Let's talk about that. And I was like, well, Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving in America, when I went to elementary school here, I shit you not, we made like half of us dressed up as pilgrims, half of us dressed up as Native Americans. We made things out of construction paper. And then going through the Indian school system, they were like, Columbus was a freaking idiot. He landed on a country that he thought was, India, and the name of the people there, India. And they just basically laid it all out. And they're like, all of these settlers were freaking terrible. They bothered the heck out of the native populaces. Let's talk about that. And it was like, wait, but what about like Pocahontas? And it's like, yeah, that was an underage girl who was taken advantage of. Let's talk about Sacagawea too. And I was like, okay, interesting.
And I think that's part of why scenes like this are important, because it's something you have to talk about, but it also goes against like what I understand why, especially older Americans have a lot of like pushback, because they've all been taught the same damn thing their entire life, and now they're being told it's different, and it's like, whoa, you're telling me I was lied to? I refuse to believe that. And I think that's it's something where it's sort of like an intersection point in this country where it's like, let's talk about like things that happened. I'd rather not. You're like, well, we're gonna have to eventually, y'all.
Yeah, and here's the craziest aspect of all that: the fact that like we're discussing this because of a fucking comic book show from Disney in America is just like.
But comic books have always been political, y'all. Have you read X-Men?
I know comic books have, but like, that just blows my mind that it's a like comic book adjacent MC. Like, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, it's crazy. Comics are always like on the forefront of stuff like this, and they can, they'll say what needs to be said. I think that's super awesome. So
yeah. Well, after that very impactful scene, I thought it was almost like it was so much of a stark contrast that they go from like this incredibly, emotional, like very important scene to like, let's go build a boat, and like here comes the happy music, and like everyone's returning home, and the rest of the film is just like kind of upbeat.
It was like a
weird.
Ford commercial in a good way. Like, it was like a pickup commercial. I think it was very much like, what makes America good, even though we got a bad history.
Yeah.
Friendship, neighbors, building a boat, drinking beer, Bucky hitting on Sam.
Yep.
Like with like the beautiful, like scenes they were showing, like, America, we still love this place. And I was like, it was almost like, hey, we just talked about some heavy stuff. It's okay. It's all right.
Here's a breather. Take a breath.
Look at this community come together and build this. Sorry for the song. To me,
no, it's right. It really was, man.
Don't be sorry for that song.
Yeah.
That's the best part of this podcast so far. That should be our theme when we come back next episode. America, it's so great, and Bucky.
Oh man, yeah. So Sam goes home and helps fix the family boat. He calls a bunch of his sisters and our sister's friends, his family's friends, I should say, because their mom was very much like the neighborhood mom. And he even quotes it as like that's what his sister's role is. Um, and then as he's like getting help, they do the classic scene of like, well, how are we gonna lift that from the truck? And then all of a sudden the shit lifts up, and it's revealed to be Bucky there, and the guys are just like, what the fuck? How the fuck that guy do that? Look at his fucking arm type shit.
Bucky's like, I'm here to hit on your sister, Sam.
Yeah,
and I was like,
yeah.
yeah.
He gives him like a
I was here
wink,
for it.
and then he goes and hits on his sister the
I
entire
was
time.
here for it.
And
I was like, the entire episode, I was like, nice.
The first time he says, "Hi, I'm Bucky," I was like, I didn't know Sebastian Stan could spit game in this way. My goodness.
It was so well
Mhm.
done as well, because like he says, "Hi, I'm Bucky," and then it just pans over like on the left side of the screen. You see Sam just like, what the fuck? Like, he's looking at the two of them like, oh, you son of a bitch.
Yup.
It was really, really well done. It was the perfect like comedic relief that was needed in that moment.
I don't know if it's a movie trope or I just have lived movie tropes, but there's something incredibly funny yet like heartwarming and sweet about like the friend hitting on the sister. I would hit on my friend's sister all the time, and she'd reject my ass all the time. She'd be like, "Go away," but like I would always do it, always. And I feel like the minute it happened, I was like, "These boys are friends." Like genuine good friends, and they try to pretend like they're not, but damn it, they super are. And I love that. I think him showing up and experiencing Sam's life and like getting to see like all his cool family members, Bucky was like, maybe I can find some peace down on the bayou.
Yeah,
When he wakes up on the couch,
that was a
like
big deal.
it was so real to life though. Like who among us has not like helped a friend with a project, gotten late and been like, I'll just sleep on your couch.
Yes.
It was so cute. It was so wholesome. I loved every part of it. And then it ends in that beautiful, where they're about to paint over the words and they're like, no. Like we gotta
This is our history.
It's
It
not
might
perfect.
suck. Yeah, it might not be perfect, but this is our history, right? Like
but if we paint over it, that doesn't fix it. We gotta fix it and just this is it, That was beautiful.
Yeah.
There's something about the fact that up until this point, Sam and Bucky, their entire relationship has been, like how there's everyone can relate to this. Everyone. There are friend groups. There's always like the one friend that when they're not around, everyone's kind of like, man, yeah, remember when that guy did this thing? And everyone's like, yeah. And everyone like relates to that one friend because they all met through that one friend or something. That's Cap. And that's who Sam and Bucky were. The two guys who were like, remember when Cap did this thing? Like, yeah. And now I think is the first time that they're like, they don't need him there to be just to want to hang out with each other. Right? It isn't, like when there's a call, you're like, yo, hey, are we doing a thing? And everyone's, oh, I didn't hear from Steve. Like, oh, okay, click. Instead, it's like, we can do something if you want. Like, I think that's what just happened in this episode. And I love that. I love that it's like, yo, we're friends. Like, yeah, let's build a damn boat together. I'll drink a beer. I was like,
yeah,
okay.
It was also just like, I came from such an authentic place. Because have you ever been the person where you're someone's childhood friend and then they have the friends that they make in college or in adulthood?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, that's such a weird dynamic. Because if you're the new friend, it's weird. If you're the old friend, it's weird. Like it's so like it's not like you're jealous but like you have such different context for who that person is, and you have such a different bond based off of whether you became best friends with someone in adulthood versus the friend you've had forever that will always be your friend that you maybe don't hang out with as much anymore. And I was like, that's Bucky. Bucky is like the childhood friend that he doesn't really hang out with now. And then Sam is the new friend, so there's like a little bit of like, oh, like you kind of replace me type of feeling there. But man, the way they navigated that was so cool. I loved it.
I didn't realize the like I guess impact of having Bucky wake up on that couch and not have a nightmare. It was like potentially like the biggest deal for him was that he felt safe enough at Sam's place that like there was no nightmare. He just woke up to like the two kids messing around with the shield and he was like, of course, Like, why wouldn't they fuck around with the shield, right? Like, it's fucking Captain America's shield. Of course they're gonna do that. And he was just
I
like
love that
normal
he
and
doesn't
happy.
yell at them.
Yeah, he doesn't yell. He's just
He
kind of
doesn't
like,
get mad or say, put that away. Because we've seen how protective he is of that shield. And in a later scene, he says, this shield is my family. So
Yeah.
when you look at it through that lens, the fact that he sees these kids like playing around with the shield, dinking around with it, and he's like, hey, he doesn't say, hey, that's not a toy. That's his family. And he's still like, yeah, this is where it should be. That's fine.
Yeah.
You know, in the hands of children having fun versus in the hands of somebody murdering somebody with it.
Yeah, it was definitely it's definitely a big deal. It kind of the same sequence of events, but pushing the I guess the timeline further of what we can talk about. The training montage was like, it was like they were playing. I looked at it as if they were two friends throwing the football, playing frisbee. When they were like chunking the shield at the different trees, and then like the other one would catch it. It was definitely like two buds tossing the baseball outside in the middle of the street type deal. There were so many parallels to just like
shit.
that whole moment as they're talking about everything. And like Sam says that line, like the shield's, family to me, or the last family I have left? Is that what he said? I forget the exact line.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And like Sam goes into the like counseling role. And in a lot of ways in that entire moment, it was so much of a character change that there was a little bit of a like shell shock to it when like Sam literally becomes Captain America in that scene with what he's saying, where he start like straight up counseling Bucky and saying like, hey, you got to stop. You got to actually make change. You got to like stop fucking around and saying sorry for yourself and say sorry for these other people. And it was so much of a different Falcon than it was like 10 minutes before. And I think like that moment, like sure, he's putting on the suit at the teaser at the end and all that stuff. But like, I think at that point, Sam was already Cap, or he's already Cap. He's already of the mindset through that entire training montage. And that was very well done. And like,
I also really liked like in that scene, it's like a very small, subtle thing, but Bucky just like every single time catches the shield and tosses it back. And I feel like every single time Sam has like a moment where it feels more natural in Bucky's hand and he still gives it to him. Cause it's like that same thing of like, it's not strength, it's not super serum that makes Captain America. And then that, especially with that conversation they're having, like you were saying, where he's like counseling him, it's that wisdom that makes the perfect Captain America. Because when they're bouncing it back and forth, Bucky is like catching it with ease every time, tossing it back, and you see Sam kind of like catch it, and it's like a little jarring every time, but it's still like he's still the better Captain America. And then it ends with him handing it to him, like, yeah, this belongs to you, even though it looks more natural in Winter Soldier's hand.
Yeah, the symbolism of that is not lost, where it's like Bucky's been, aware of the weight in a lot of ways, and like this is Sam like taking on the quote weight of that shield, right? Like you could definitely read into a lot of that scene for sure. Jesse, I know you've been wanted to jump in.
Yeah, no, I like how totally wrong I was about the initial setup piece of Bucky dealing with the father of the guy that he killed.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, they did the exact same thing in WandaVision, where they set up a plot where it seems like on paper, oh, I know what's going to happen. It's going to be some big epic something, but in reality, I think very much like what happened in this show, it's very much more on an emotional down to like this was a conversation like, dude, go back and talk to that guy, like. There is no like, and then Zemo kidnapped him, and now it's not like, no. Just like, go have a conversation with that man and like clear your soul, my dude. Yeah. And I was like, that's such a different direction than what I thought we were going. And yeah, I had the exact same thoughts with the last two episodes of WandaVision, where I was like, I know where the show's going. Nope, I had no clue. No, I didn't think this is where I did not think that we would have a battle of wits between two visions, like that kind of vibe. I was like, didn't see that coming. Love it. And this idea, I love the same, where it's like, I would love to see him go back and talk to this man, because I know this dude's going to be so heartbroken how is this going to play out? I think it's a fascinating way to handle things in a comic book universe where it isn't like, and then we battled for 1,000 years. Like, it's not that. It's like, just go have a talk. Just go talk it out with this guy.
Yeah.
Like, go, say you're sorry and like make amends and do whatever it takes to like get past this. Oh yeah, fascinating.
Yeah. You mentioned the idea of like going back and talking to the father of the person that Bucky killed. He also just, if you think of the parallels between, I think it was the first episode when Bucky is talking to the therapist and she says like, when was the last, like, do you have nightmares? Blah, blah, blah. And like, he kind of skirts around it and like, isn't 100% like straightforward with it. In this moment with Sam's like, he's still having those nightmares and he just goes all the time, like immediately. Which I think kind of shows the growth between the two of them thus far in the show. And that's even further highlighted by when they are like done with the training montage and they do this whole like, yeah, we're a little bit more than like coworkers, but we're not a team. Like they do that whole bit essentially, which I think was very well done and funny at the same time. And then the big moment for me was when Bucky is walking away and Sam turns back to the camera and he's got his shield on the side. And that to me, like, I didn't even need the suit at that point. Like the way that they have the shield framed and the way that he's got it like on his silhouette looks like identical to the Steve Rogers Captain America. And it was so well done just to have that little moment right there. It was a great moment for sure. My biggest fear though moving forward, and we'll talk about there's a little bit more of the rest of the episode. My biggest fear is that like Bucky might not come back to the MCU. Like Sebastian Stan this might be retirement. I hope I'm completely dead wrong, but they're definitely setting Bucky up to be like, hey, I can live a normal life, right? Like I can find peace in this. And I hope that that's not the case. I really want to see more of him as we go forward in phase 4. But I don't know. I don't know like what he does.
We better not get less. I want more. I want a spin-off show of him in Wakanda as the White Wolf. I want him in everything. Because I was always like, oh yeah, Sebastian Stan's okay. Like that character's okay. But after this series, count me a Sebastian Stan, if you will.
There you go.
I just love him. I love him.
He's great.
Everything. Put him in everything. Not less, more.
If he's kind of the like breadcrumb that we follow into the Wakanda series, then like that'd be great. Like as he's the end to that series, not necessarily the focus. I'd be into that, but I just hope he's not done.
I'll never forgive you. I'll never forgive you for that.
Calling myself a Sebastian Stan. I'm sure I'm not the first person who said that.
Yes.
Probably
I know you're not, but like you saying it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to me.
Did you see him drinking a Heineken, hitting on Sam's sister?
It's true. Yeah, it's very true.
I'm not dead, Jesse. I have eyes. How do you walk away from that and not be like, oh my God, Sebastian Stan? No, watching him fix a boat with his big metal arm, drinking Heinekens, not the best beer. Sorry. But, I was like,
product placement.
I was thinking of him building our house together while we drink Black Butte Porter, I was like, oh, this man, I could just imagine him in our yard building a shed. I've never been a fan of that character, and after this series, I'm like,
that's because in the movies he always felt like kind of like, it's one of those weird things when you watch the films, especially like go back and watch Endgame, and at the end when all the heroes are trying to like stop Thanos, and like everyone's throwing everything, and then Sebastian Stan runs up with a machine gun. You're like, it's so ridiculously out of place. Like he's like, I'll stop you with these bullets, Thanos. It looks so funny. And even like, even on the battlefield, he's fighting all these aliens and stuff, and he's just like, it's crazy. So he always had that same vibe as Black Widow or Hawkeye, where it's just like, you shoot arrows, but that other guy literally is a giant green man. Like, you're so out of place here. And it's pretty crazy. And so I'm glad they gave him like more than just I am Steve Rogers' friend. And Steve has to look out for me because I'm damaged. I think there's like, I love that they added more to him there. Can I also say, I love that someone came along and trimmed Sam's beard properly. Because go back and watch Endgame. I hate what they did to his facial hair. It like he has like a crazy neck line and like it looks terrible. I don't know what they were thinking, but when he gets the shield at the end, the entire time I'm sitting there like, who styled this man's beard? I swear to God, I'm about to fight all of them. It looks terrible. And in this show, they were like, oh, he looks like a human and not like one of those aliens from Star Wars that make the clones with like the really long neck and shit. Drove me crazy. I was like, how could you butcher this man's beard? Go back and watch Endgame. Go back and watch that last scene. His like face looks like a straight line down. They like cut his beard crazily, and it's always upset me. It's always upset me. And finally, they were like, "No, Sam looks like a human, not like whatever the hell they did in Endgame." Oh, it always upset me.
Be very to anyone watching this live or VOD. Be very careful about typing Falcon Endgame into Google image search. You might have the new suit spoiled for you. Be very careful about it.
Whoa, okay. Don't do that. Don't spoil that.
I think I just had it spoiled for me. I think that stuff's out there. I can see what you're saying about the beard, though. I 100%
I'm just saying, like,
it.
it's $1 billion movie.
Yeah.
Why can't you make the man look good?
Yeah.
He's a very attractive man. Why can't they make him look good?
Yeah.
I was so upset about that. Even in the movie, I was like, why is beard cut like that? Like, that looks so weird. So now I'm so proud that like they did, because he did the pose, because it's the exact same pose he does in Endgame. But this time he looked like a badass and not just like, I guess I'll take it. I was like, oh, thank you. Thank you, Marvel. He looks awesome. Like, he looks so, I'm ready for this new Captain America now. I was like, all right, we good.
Yeah. So to continue on, the one, like, if the whole show is just like this rise, this is the dip in the episode for me, and it's the Flag Smashers. Like, it was just I had a hard time honestly paying attention to it. Before we get to that moment with the Flag Smashers, we got a little bit of a realization or a peek behind the curtain, the fact that Shannon was the one that hired Batroc, the Leaper.
Sharon.
I've been saying, what did I say? Shannon? Yes, Sharon.
Shannon.
Sorry. Sharon was the one that hired him in the first episode for whatever that was, and now is the one that hired him again to go and give the Flag Smashers some equipment. So does that further push the idea that Sharon Carter is the fucking power broker, or is that just
it seems so obvious that it's like not fun? I don't know. Like, it seems so of course she must be. But then if that's the case, then all those other things that we've seen so far in the series like aren't even a mystery. Like, it's almost disappointing to me that it would be like, how did they not figure this out? They were literally in her stolen painting home.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Stolen painting home. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm fine with it. It just seems like a weird plot point then to write into a story that, like, there's a mystery. Who is the power broker? Like, well, if we all knew it was Sharon the entire time, then that's not fun.
It's definitely it's the one thing in this show that I'm just like, it's fine. I don't think it's necessarily bad, but it's just like, whatever. Like, it's the least interesting aspect to me. It's the motivation to get these characters back together to like have this one big fight scene, I guess, essentially. But the whole idea with like the Flag Smashers taking over the GRC conference, whatever. Great.
I would have rather had it be in the next episode. I don't think it
like
needed
to
be
start off. Yeah, I guess they're setting the stage, right? Because the final, both the final moments of the episode and then the post-credit scene kind of even more push that like final confrontation between everyone. But whatever. The Flag Smash, it's okay. I feel like they really got screwed over. Yeah, I feel like they got really screwed over by, in a weird way, by COVID, where they just had to rewrite the idea that it was not a pandemic type situation. Because you ask me what their fucking motivation is, I have a hard time telling you because they're kind of all over the place. And I feel like
They're the Thanos did nothing wrong crowd.
yeah, I guess ultimately that's what you could go with. I feel like the actress for Carly is like doing well with the stuff that she was given, but it's not that well written for her in a lot of ways, and so like it just comes across a little bit whatever. It's the least interesting aspect of the show to me. I could really, do without it, but if it pushes the narrative along so that everyone comes together for like the big battle, then great, sure.
It definitely feels like everything we talked about before with how there was clearly another plot that they cut out because it was like,
Yeah.
it's pandemic related. It definitely feels like their plot is kind of all over the place and their motivations are a little all over the place. And yeah, you can definitely tell, just like with all things, a lot of edits happened where they're kind of like not really a threat, but their actions are threatening, but the way they're portrayed is like, not really like, no, they're there. They exist as a means to get characters different places. Like, it's very clear that Carly's character exists at this point so that Walker has an objective. Because like when he met with the parents and they were like,
oh, right, we skipped over that.
You killed the one, you killed the man who killed my boy. And he's like, yes. And it's clear he lied. And it's clear he's going to go after Carly and kill Carly. Like, that's very clear what's going to happen. At least in his mind, that's his objective. And so their storyline exists only to get Walker back out in the field to murder them at this point. Is like, yeah, it's I don't know what purpose they serve other than a vehicle to continue the story into the final episode.
It's also a little crazy too when you consider the fact that the super soldier serum is such this big force in kind of the MCU right now at large. And the Flag Smashers have, I guess now 6 like super soldiers.
Yeah.
But like the show doesn't, it's been such a non-factor in the show. Like they're going to go fight 6 fucking Captain America super fucking crazy powered up people. And it's just like, he's got a new suit. He's going to be fine. It's made from Wakanda. Like, it's just whatever. I mean, like, it should be a bigger deal, I feel.
We did learn this, I guess, last episode. But I guess this episode as well. Like, a bullet can still stop a super soldier.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you can, and I think, the good news for Sam is that he has Wakanda armor. So hopefully bullets won't be an issue.
Right.
But I'm very curious, what happens with these 6 people, because I imagine what we'll see is Walker kill like 5 of them. Right? I imagine, if I had to guess, that's what's gonna happen.
It would be interesting if Walker just like killed them all except for Carly, and then this is like the end of, like, they can't go and like test those people to figure out the super soldier serum.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like,
how is he gonna kill him? All right, I know this is post.
What if Bucky just shows up with a machine gun again and just does it again?
He's just got his gun with like Wakandan bullets or something.
Yeah, and so they're all 6 posted up, and then just Bucky with the machine gun goes in there, and it's done.
And they're all dead. Yeah, and they all die. And then Bucky's like, I feel better. That's like,
that's good therapy.
And then Zemo's like, you did good. And that's the end.
Yeah, from the raft. He's like watching somehow.
Yeah, he's like, yes,
I need to ask this question. That post-credit scene.
Yeah.
All right. Let me just...
I know exactly where you're going here because I had the same thought, but go ahead.
They try to make him look so angry and badass as he's making that shield.
Mm-hmm.
But let me ask y'all... What's he gonna do with that shield? That shield looked like he made it out of car parts.
Yeah, dude.
All I'm saying is,
I thought he was making a Ford. I thought that was more of the America. What makes Americans Americans?
And Bucky too.
Trucks. I thought that's what he was doing.
It's real weird, man. Yeah, like
I thought that was the bumper.
I honestly was just like, wait a minute, he's gonna show up with this booty ass shield. Yeah. You're like, I'm here. Like, he even
got a
put
bunch
the
of
metal
Coke
in
cans
it, dude.
and like flanned them out. He's got an loop.
But you know what though? Walker several times now, he doesn't use the shield right. He did before the super serum But ever since he's had the serum, every like 9 times out of 10, when he throws the shield, it just gets embedded in the wall because he's just throwing it with sheer force and he uses it like a weapon, right?
He's not trained.
I'm pretty sure this is like a Xena-esque, like just this is a big metal disc being flung by a dude hopped up on serum. It's not a
just like
shield
he's throwing
anymore.
into people's heads. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a pog that he's throwing. It's basically a razor blade. Especially him beating that dude, you know, like in the chest with the shield. I'm pretty sure to him, this ain't a shield anymore. It's a metal disc with which he plans to dispense justice.
It's just
does it need to be made out of vibranium?
It's still like spare parts. It's so there's something
he's fucking using
ridiculous
like
about it.
the goddamn Walker Texas Rangers insignia, like the U.S.
And it's
Marshal.
also it's also like even funnier that he's like, I'm gonna make it look exactly like Captain America. Like I want it to look as much like Captain America's shield as possible. Like that's even more ridiculous.
That fits the line of like I am Captain America, right? Like he's not letting that shit go. But
it also fits the line of like how bootleg Captain America he is, because he's like, I made it out of car parts.
Yeah.
Like it's so silly.
Oh,
the minute it happened, and there's like a slow-mo, like slow-mo sparks, and I'm like, they're trying to make this so cool, but this is literally silly. This is so silly what they're doing right now. I just
thought it was a pickup commercial.
It was. I mean, he's got to have a shield, right? So like, I guess they had to show him like making a shield, right? Because he can't just like pick up a fucking door like the original Captain America did. It's like a nod to it with a little star on it, right? Like
a little car door,
like
a little cab,
door, the yellow cab door
He's
with
like,
the red star. That whole thing was a little bit weird, but
I'm not gonna lie. Look, I'm not telling people how to make their Captain America shows, but if Sam fought Walker at the Captain America Museum and Walker picked up the car door from the first movie that was at the museum and used it as his shield, that would be the coolest moment ever. I'm not telling people how to make their movies, but that would be ridiculous.
Yeah. So we'll see. Is someone in my chat like steel is very hard? I get it. I understand. It's still just like I don't believe that like Walker is the like he's not fucking Iron Man, right? Like he's not making an Iron Man level shield. He's a dude that like had a vice and like had some welding parts and like you know he could put together.
I'm no welding master, but it didn't even look like he was welding correctly. I'm just like something about it looked off. I was like,
you know what it looked like? That scene looked like one of those 60-second TikToks of someone making cosplay of like an upcoming character for Monster Hunter or some shit. Right? Like it's badass.
He pulls out his like blow dryer and
superhero. Yeah, he gets his blow dryer.
Listen, John Walker is the people's Captain America.
Oh my god. Yeah. We've got a bunch of welders in my chat apparently, and they were bad welds according to chat. So.
I love the people that goes with bad welds.
DIY.
Oh my god. Yeah. So that was like it was cool. I get it, but it was definitely the entire time I'm thinking like, fuck the shield. Bucky's gonna like tear the shield in half or something. He's gonna like Thanos the fake Captain shield or some shit. It was a weird moment for sure.
If he folds it in half,
He could.
He better fold it in half. Grab it.
Yeah.
Fold it like a taco. Throw it on the ground.
He could for sure. Yeah. Someone also
like, I spent hours on that. Guys, that was my shield.
You made me, guys. That's supposed to be mine.
Guys, that was the shield I made. That's rude, dude. Come on.
Before we do our
metal in there, guys.
Before we do our predictions for the final episode, I should mention that also that in that conference, someone in chat wanted me to point out that apparently the GRC are just saying like fuck the refugees. They're just like outright moving forward and saying forget them. So.
Oh yeah. The one guy literally is just like, screw it. Yeah. My accent will cover up how much of a douche I am, and you're like, yeah, all right.
Yeah. So that's that. Yeah. So final episode Friday. Does anyone die? Let's start off with the big questions. Who dies if anyone? Does anyone not make it out? I think we definitely see some super soldier deaths. I don't think we see any big. I think Walker makes it through. I think everyone makes it through.
Same. I think like the red shirts will die.
Yeah.
Because those characters, I don't even know their names, but they've been there the whole series. So I think that like they want us to care about them. I'll be honest, all those people Carly talks to, I don't care about them.
I don't. They're just there for
All the-
exposition.
Yeah, all the Flag Smashers are dead. I think even Carly's dead. I think
You think
they're
they
all
killed
dead.
Carly?
I think
killed
Walker
Carly?
kills Carly. Yeah, I think it's like one of those like shocking like
To push him over the edge of like he's gone off the deep end now, like he's willing to do.
I just think he said what he was gonna do, and he's gonna do it. Right? Like I feel like that can then lead to another. I mean, I think you said this earlier, JP. The Flag Smashers are kind of like superfluous right now.
Yeah,
they don't matter to the story. The real story is Sam and Bucky, and then the B story is like fake Cap. And the Flag Smashers are like C story at this point. They don't particularly matter to what's going on. They exist to forward the plot.
Mm.
So I think they're all dead. I think they're all dead.
Even Carly?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know where they would use her
I don't
in the
either.
story after this.
I really don't.
Like I don't know
right.
what they would do with her character.
Yeah. I really don't know what her use would be apart from like she like maybe Walker as like a nod to patching things up with the US government, like captures her and then says like, here's your test subject, and then hands her Walker or hands her Carly.
Maybe
so that they can like continue down that path, right? Because like, you know, world governments and world militaries are going to try to get the best tech, the best weapons, and if the best weapon is a fucking super soldier, they got to try as best they can. And Walker's definitely not going to be like, test on me, right? He's going to give them the next best thing, which is someone else. So
yeah,
I could see that going down there.
I mean, there was also so much conversation about whether or not Carly can be redeemed between Zemo and Bucky, between Bucky and Sam, all these things about like, what if she can't come back from that, Sam? Like, what do we do then? Like all these conversations. I think it's less about how they deal with Carly and what Carly does next episode, which I don't know. We got like 20 seconds. I mean, that case at the end with the weapons and how her partner's like, what? We're working with criminals now. And she's like, this is what we got to do. This is our only choice. I'm sure that she's going to do something next time. Because there was like one of the officials, was it like the representative of India who's like, we cannot simply leave those people behind. Watch, yeah. I bet you the only good person there is going to die. And she's going to be like, we got to set a message. This is what we got to do. And then, everyone's going to be like,
can we get a whole show of you reenacting with accents?
Yeah,
please,
no,
the
that's
entire
great.
show.
Yes, please continue with just the...
This is what we got to do. Corley, who is this guy here? He says, you got to watch out because we got a bar talk now and he's brought us a box. And in the box, this thing's going to kill, see? But that's not who you are. I know who you are, Carly. You don't know me anymore. We're gonna go to GRC. We're gonna go blow it up, see? I need more of this. I need more of this story from you.
I agree. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I think it's all in her hands.
Yeah.
And then John's gonna be like, what? Murder, and everyone's gonna be like, you did the right thing. This time they're gonna be like, you did the right thing because she was crazy. And Sam and Bucky are gonna be the only two that are like, no, that's not the right thing.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think like they did the thing that is like, this person's irredeemable. When like they do something evil and they have that like smile. You know what I mean? Like Carly got the ability to assault the GRC and she was like, I'm so excited to do it. And you're like, oh, she's gone.
She's dead.
She's gone. She's full crazy now. Yeah, like, oh, she's a villain. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I smile at a lot of things I do. Then she jumped up the chimney and flew away. She put on her chimney sweep outfit and took off.
She's going to become Mary Poppins or something.
We gotta go, GRC.
Look,
she opens her umbrella and flies away.
there's only one Mary Poppins in the MCU. All right, he's already passed. We can't.
I'm so sorry. There
him.
actually isn't.
We can't
I'm so
replace.
sorry.
No,
that character is dead.
He lives on. He lives on.
All right then. Come on, y'all. Jump on me broom. Fly away. Abracadabra.
Wait, he's Harry Potter now?
They're all, it's
Hermione?
it's the UK, I think. It's the accent, yeah. Hop on.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, we're joking about the Flag Smashers, but I'm right there with you. It's whatever. I just want to see the big fight between. I kind of feel like they're not going to have it. Do you think if in the fight between Falcon, because there's several fights that have to happen, right? Batroc is there to fight Falcon. GSP is going to go fight Falcon. He's going to lose horribly, but he still wants to kill him. Walker's going there because he wants to kill Carly. Does Bucky even show up at all? Or is he like just fighting the wall or fighting that grandfather or something?
I mean, the show is called
I know,
Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I mean, like, he has to be there.
What is he there to? Who does he fight? Is he there just to get Walker? Or to stop Carly?
I mean, I have a feeling that it's going to be one of those sort of like everybody fighting everybody kind of vibes.
Just a big fight scene, like four-way
fight
scene.
Yeah. I don't see that. Like, I mean, even if there's a moment where Carly's like, "Oh no, are we the baddies?" I feel like then she might even fight Bartok. Like, there could be like a whole like everybody be fighting everybody, which is fine. I'm fine with that. Who knows? I mean, because then we have the whole Sharon story. Like, what is happening there?
Yeah.
Maybe Bartok kills her. Like, maybe he's the one who kills her.
I don't think
Like,
we're going to get resolution of her in this one.
No, I think that's a continuing thing, which is also kind of like there's no there's no like I want to say there's no sauce there. Like I don't care at all about Sharon's thing unless it's revealed that she is the power broker at this point, which all signs point to that. But like Jesse said, the payoff to that is like, if they frame it with like a slow zoom up and she's like, "I'm the power broker," everyone's gonna be like, "Well, yeah, no fucking shit," and then it's gonna move on, right?
Right? Like, it's weird. It's so obvious that like if it is her, I don't know how that's a powerful scene because it's like, okay, we all knew that.
And in a lot of ways, I'm actually realizing now the more I think about it that this episode was kind of like the big episode for the show, and the next one is just like, okay, we got to do this fight. Just like in WandaVision, she got like her character arc finished by like getting a new suit and like coming to terms with her fucking bullshit. Sam's gonna be like, "Nope, I am Captain America. I'm accepting the shield finally." That's that. And like, I will watch it 100%, but it's not necessarily. I don't need that, right? Like, I'm not. It's just like, great, I get to see the resolution of this. Whereas in this show, it was like, yes, this shit I didn't even know that I needed, but it was 10 out of 10. But we'll see. I don't know. Marvel sometimes subverts expectations, so we'll see if something crazy happens. What do you think is what's the like extra scene, the final scene, the pull away shot of like, "Come to the theater. By the way, I'm a scroll." Like, what do you think is that type of shit?
I've been thinking about this for a while because I seem to recall, and I could be way off. I have to go back. I was actually thinking about like, what if I right now go back and look, but I feel like that's super disrespectful to you too.
Wait,
I was gonna be like, so in the trailer for this show, there's a scene where Zemo, it's like a white background, and he puts on the mask. And I can't remember if that's the scene we had originally in like episode 3 where he puts on the mask.
It had a cloud. He was like up on top of that shipping container. So if he put on the mask, there might have been like clouds behind him. Yeah.
But I thought there was like a white background in the trailer. And now they're like always going to the raft. I'm like, oh, the bonus scene is the dude literally just breaks out and is like, "Zemo's back, bitches," and he puts on his mask, and that's like how it ends. I don't know.
I think if Marvel like wants to fucking set Twitter ablaze with the final episode, with the reveal that Bucky knew all along that Captain was going to tell Sam to be the next Captain America, or like pass the shield on or whatever, if the final extra credit scene is Bucky going to visit Steve. Because like they haven't like talked about it at all. They just talk about him as like him being gone, or that he's, you know, they don't say he's flat out dead. And so if Bucky like goes and have a beer with like old Steve or something, he's like, hey, Sam worked out, good call. And then it just like slowly fades out. Like that would be a like pretty awesome scene as like a final send off to Steve Rogers and Chris Evans. But I don't know if they could do
they
that.
would do his final send off in a show.
Hey, that's a great way to
I
get people to watch the show.
I thought he had
don't know.
one.
I know.
He
I
did have a
agree,
send off
but
already. He did.
I thought the whole point was he had one. He had his send off, and he was like,
Yeah.
"No, I don't think I will."
and they're just
he
so
dances the night away.
particular
Yeah.
about. They're just so particular about what they can do in the shows versus what they can do in the movies. Because even I don't know. Well, they did say that Benedict Cumberbatch was going to be in WandaVision. Because I was like, they just like gave hints of Doctor Strange. They didn't even
Right.
lean into that. But maybe that was because of the pandemic. So I guess we can't say definitively that that's not going to happen. But I do think they're going to try to hint at everything somehow being interconnected.
Yeah.
I feel like the nod off in this one is going to be some type of add-on to like Black Widow or something like that. To like
Like
it's
a
going to be a
setup
call
for
to
Black Widow.
action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
But this
That's my
technically
theory.
in recording timeline, this was after
Black Widow. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Because Black Widow
So,
was
I
already
mean-
supposed to be out.
Do you think they're going to do kind of what they did at the end of one? Like, do you think it's one of those kind of setups where it's like, "Hey, I need to talk with you, Sam," and then he goes in and it's like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 hey, I'm a Skrull, and there's some Skrull shit that needs to get done." Is that like where we're going with all this?
I mean,
Is this
maybe.
like, I
Yeah.
hear there might be a secret war or two. Wink.
Yeah.
Is that like kind of the vibe we're at?
Potentially. Yeah. We've seen Contessa's got to show back up, right? It has to be her on the raft, like some sort of thunderbolt thing, or like,
Oh, maybe she calls him to break him out. Like,
yeah,
that's
or she goes to the raft
need
and
you.
talks to Ross, or like Ross is there and he's like, I'm putting together a team, like bullshit. Like I could see that. I think the more that I considered the idea of Steve showing up, I feel like that would actually quite literally steal the show, right?
Yeah.
Like it's too big of a thing for the show to be like Sam becoming Captain America if you have fucking Steve Rogers show up and be like,
Yeah.
oh shit, that's my Captain America right there. I don't think they could do
Yeah,
that.
I
It's
think
too
it would
big.
undermine. I think
Yeah.
you're right. It would undermine him a little bit, especially after that whole scene where he's like, "You want my honest opinion? Like, it doesn't matter what Steve Rogers thinks of you. Like, that's not what makes you you. You make
Yeah.
you. So for it to end with that, I think that it would be cool.
I'd love
I'm
it.
here
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
But I think it would take too much away from the message they've sent through the rest of this show, which is like we're passing the torch. You can't pass the torch if they show old, Chris Evans, and we're all like, "Oh, that's
Yeah.
my Cap."
I
You don't want that.
I think the more I think about it, it has to be a Thunderbolt setup of some sort, right?
Yeah,
Like,
that
I
makes
know we're
sense.
Where else are they going to fit the Contessa scene?
Right.
Yeah. Why even have it? Yeah, absolutely.
It would only make sense in post credits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it has to be. Like, they can't be like, and then we'll send them to the raft. Like they're dropping all little tidbits to be like, and the post credits is this, and it will be people be like, oh, what's that mean? And then everyone else will be like, it's Marvel Suicide Squad, yay!
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's that's fine. That's it's all right.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be a mix of things. I would love if they also pushed the Madripoor story more. I don't know like what that big thing is. I don't know what that could be. I think if we're in the idea of like breaking Twitter, if they somehow maybe show a country starting with an L towards something else over there, like
I don't know. What are you referring to, JP?
like that would be fucking great if they go down
What do
that
you
path.
mean?
I think that's too soon though.
What kind of country would it be? Would it be some sort of European country?
Maybe.
What?
Perhaps.
Like a very small European country?
It could be very small, yeah. Yeah, I think that could be. They need a
Wow.
doctor though to really be at the helm of everything. I believe.
Hold on. Is he a real doctor though?
Is
there
Dr.
just like
Looper
a
a real
title?
doctor?
Touche.
You know?
Chat. I was just reading this. This is actually. What if Torres is the post credit? And
Of
he's
him
like,
putting
I'm
on the
Falcon
suit?
now. That'd be
That would be a
equally
little
fine.
anticlimactic. I think he's gonna come in during the final fight.
I
That
love
would
it.
be
Like,
cool
I
if he
love
shows up.
Torres.
Yeah.
I like him, but they have not spent nearly enough time with him for us to really care. I think this last episode is when they're going to guess to be like, he's kind of cool. I hope we get to see more of him. But we have not spent nearly enough time with him. I mean, we did in the first episode or two.
Yeah.
After that, we haven't seen him. So if the final scene is him putting on a suit and being like, I guess it's my turn to be Falcon, so many people are going to be like, oh, that guy from episode 1? Like,
Yeah. I think if anything, he does show up in the fight, and that pushes the Young Avengers potential, and then the post credit scene is the Thunderbolt thing, right? Like that makes a lot of sense.
I
yeah,
can't
think he's
believe
gonna
that you
come
were
in
just
the
like,
final fight.
what, guys, hold on. What if it's Doctor Doom? I can't believe that's like,
Dude,
hold on.
like,
What if it's just Doctor Doom?
There's been so much where it's like they show Sokovia, and then it's like, and we're going to Luxembourg. Oh, we're going to Lithuania. Like, it's definitely the Mephisto pipe dream of this show for me, right? But
Holy crap.
you know, it
Don't
would be
do that.
fucking stellar.
There are 6 flies and they appear 6 times, and you know that Mephisto is the Lord of Flies. Don't do that. Don't be like that. Don't do that to this podcast. I refuse to go down that path with you.
Oh god.
Every Marvel Easter egg explained. I feel like that has to be in all caps on this video. Like Doctor Doom teased. You know, like with all of
If these videos don't have like us looking like whoa, and then like a red arrow pointing to like
Here,
a
hold
circle
on.
in the
Everyone
background.
move your cam out so Reggie can capture it. Or your mic out, sorry. And then we'll make
Gotcha.
There you go, Reggie. That's the thumbnail. You can use that as your thumbnail.
Perfect. Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome for that. Now draw like multiple little red arrows all over the screen, and then in yellow text say something like Marvel Universe explained ?
Oh,
The
man.
real meaning of Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Multiple question marks. Yeah.
Yeah.
13 reasons why. The number 5 will surprise
you have to have you have to have a number.
Okay.
72 Easter eggs we found in episode 5.
72? That's more work than I'm willing to invest.
Yeah.
That is
And
frame
it'll
by
always
frame.
be something that has nothing to do with anything. It'll be like, right here, Steve Rogers is running. See this dog behind him? That's a callback to Cosmo. I'm like, or that's a dog. You idiot.
I do like the idea Reggie already had of dragons are really aliens? ? I like that one. Let's go with that one.
Yeah,
For the
yeah,
show.
I like that too.
I mean, look, we talked about that at the beginning.
Yeah.
I stay with it again. I love the idea that dragons are aliens. I think that's my favorite new trope of sci-fi fantasy. Of course, dragons, they're aliens. I'm like, yeah,
I can get behind
checks
that.
out. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right. Any other final episode predictions that you guys want to get out before we wrap up?
48 hints that Galactus is the power broker.
That's really good. That's really good.
That would be the best. And then the end in the post-credit scene.
Wait, no, that's
Sharon
Reggie.
just meets the Silver Surfer. She's like, I need to talk to the power broker. He's like,
wait. It's not actually Silver Surfer. It's John Walker covered himself in tinfoil.
Did you make that surfboard out of car parts? He's like, that's right. I did.
It's like Galactus eats us.
If that's what, I would lose my mind if we all just assume that's who Julia Louis-Dreyfus is, and she shows up at the end and just morphs into a silver person. She's like, Galactus is calling you. I'd be like, what is happening? That would be the best twist in the history of all cinema. Like, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is Silver Surfer. I'd be like, oh! That'd be amazing.
I'm just losing it at the idea of fucking Walker, man, just acting the shit out of that scene while covered in tinfoil. It's saying, I'm the Silver Surfer.
That would be that is
It is like
right
all
up there.
crinkly and shit when he moves.
They would literally have to make
play every comic book character now.
Oh my
they'd have to make a webisode where they're like, well, actually, he wasn't the real Silver Surfer. They'd have to do that. They'd have to make one of those. And be like, he just went crazy.
Yeah.
He wasn't the real Silver Surfer. The real Silver Surfer appears in Shang-Chi. Yeah, that kind of vibe.
That was real stupid. I can only see Walker with the serious face and that like butt chin. Just wrapped up in tinfoil, man. And like right here, it's got like a fold on the tinfoil because you had to push it in. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Whew. I hope that happens.
It's not happening. It's not. There's a giant spaceman and he eats worlds.
I mean, they're gonna have to do it eventually, all right?
We figured we'd bring that shit up in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It seemed appropriate.
That's what I want to see in the future, right? Is MCU takes from random characters like Sharon in Madripoor who learns of Galactus, and she's just like, well, I don't fucking know. Like, what do you want me to do? I guess I'll put some people on it. Or they go and ask they ask Carly, iCarly, about Galactus and her take on it. That'd be great.
She'd probably be like, Galactus is good. He's a great equalizer.
Wait, she's Irish now?
If all of these people die, then maybe they'll understand what it's like for us displaced folks, And everyone's gonna be like, Carly, you can't let Galactus eat Earth. And she'd be like, maybe it's for the best. And Doctor Strange will be like, I thought my movie was gonna be about something else, but I guess we're here now.
Yeah. Mephisto's done. That's what it's about. Oh my God. All right.
Carly appeared 6 times, and in those 6 times there were 6 flies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Galactus, everyone. Galactus. Carly ate a hamburger in one episode, and Galactus is the eater of worlds. So all I'm saying is Carly is Galactus. Yeah.
Confirmed. Lock it in.
Confirmed.
Mm-hmm. Take that, Feige. We figured out your shit. You're
done. We get it now.
You're done here. But great writing. All right, I think we're done. We're going off the deep end. There will not be a show next week. We will talk about the final episode as well as the making of Falcon and the Winter Soldier on the 3rd. So you're gonna have to wait a week for our hot takes on the finale. I guess, but I don't like. I think the 3 of us can agree that like there's not going to be any crazy things that happen in the final episode. It's just going to resolve the character lines. You think they're going to see some shit?
How can you say there's not going to be anything crazy? This is going to be wild. It's going to be wild.
All right. Jesse's going with wild. I'm thinking they're going to
You're just trying to unhype yourself because you don't get to watch it right away. I know what you're doing.
I'll watch it on fucking Friday night. Not a problem. But I got a hotel room with nothing to do, That's all I got. Just watch Disney.
I think something big's going to happen.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What, to set off the rest of the MCU conversation?
Yeah.
On like are we talking like big in like the cosmic level big, or like the fucking the US political world, like
cosmic level?
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like what's the big thing? Look, I'm still on the Silver Surfer thing. It'd be so funny if he just showed up.
I don't know if it's gonna. I feel like the MCU is splitting almost into 2 forks, which is the intergalactic space stuff and the stuff that's based on planet Earth.
Yeah.
And I think this next episode is going to tell us what the next big Avengers thing is going to be, whereas like WandaVision, Doctor Strange are going to show us what the next big because like the Guardians of the Galaxy aren't exactly coming to Earth to help with the next big Earth problem.
Right.
So
right.
I don't know if that's going to be Hydra. I don't know if that's going to be, but I think it is going to be like, oh, space is cool. That's all great. Cosmic Marvel's great, but there's still stuff that's going to happen on Earth. So let's talk about that. I think it's going to be like a big push, a big nod to like what's going to happen with the next movies based on planet Earth, especially with like the whole Shang-Chi thing. I think that's also going to tie into Madripoor. I think it's going to tell us like what what all that's gonna do.
Is Madripoor like the nexus of all that?
I think, because I don't know why, but like having like, because the doesn't the Mandarin also operate out of Madripoor?
I believe.
And we got a
maybe,
Shang-Chi trailer right before the finale.
Maybe.
I don't. If they say the power broker, if they drop like the power broker is the Mandarin, like I'd be like, okay,
That'd be kind of cool.
yeah.
That'd be kind of nice. I'd be into that.
But then why wouldn't they? But I guess it doesn't make sense because why wouldn't you just use the name Mandarin because it's such a powerful like the literal Mandarin. Everyone in the underworld knows the Mandarin. Like I don't know why they call him the power broker. Like I don't know that would make any sense.
Yeah. We didn't discuss it really at all when we were talking about the Shang-Chi trailer, but like they've got a not necessarily a problem, but they've created a struggle with reintroducing the Mandarin after Iron Man 3. Because Jesse, you just did the voice of Mandarin, and it was immediately evocative of like that guy just being a fucking joke.
Oh, hey, mate, it's just me, the Mandarin.
Yeah.
I got plenty of birds in my bed. I do.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm pretty high this entire movie. I got paid. Oh no, I'm not even the real Mandarin. Oh, maybe I am, but I'm not. Like that's Kingsley is like amazing, like a very fun actor.
Yeah.
But like I feel like what a wasted character
It was.
to be like it's the Mandarin, but not. Like
Yeah,
it was kind
really,
of a cop out.
It was. Yeah. What if Walker does some bad shit in the final episode? He needs a lawyer, and fucking Jennifer Walters walks in, and She-Hulk shows up, pre-She-Hulk, or fucking Matt Murdock. But I don't think Matt Murdock would defend him. I think that's more Spider-Man world. They could get
Can I
Jennifer
ask a
Walters,
question?
though.
Question for the audience.
Okay.
Does the dude from Rage Against the Machine live at the end of the first Iron Man movie? He does, yes. The guy from the desert.
Wait, what? What did you just...
The bad guy, the dude who like is in the cave, the lead bad guy in the cave.
Yeah, he lived.
Is from Rage Against the Machine, which is, by the way, amazing. An amazing casting choice. He is 100%.
Like Tom Morello? What?
Yes.
That's Tom
so,
Morello?
And so, my question for you is, yeah, it totally is. And so my question for you is, if he lives, because he had the 10 rings, like, wouldn't he be associated with the Mandarin still?
Hold on. You're saying Tom Morello was the
it's
bad
not Tom
guy?
Morello. Oh my God, what is his name?
Okay, because if you Google Tom Morello and Iron Man 1, he definitely wrote he was the guitar on the soundtracks of both movies. I understand what you're saying now, though. Continue on. I was just about to have like a giant mind blown that like the bad guy in the first Iron Man was fucking Tom Morello from Rage Against, because you sounded so sincere in what you were saying. What are you trying to say, though, Jesse? Because we're confused now.
No, I'm telling you that
the bald guy in Iron Man 1, he lives.
But he's from Rage Against the Machine, isn't he?
No, that's not Tom Morello. That's a different actor.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Positive it's him.
I'm 99.9%. He was a henchman, apparently, that got yeeted.
Oh, he was a henchman. I knew. All right, I'm way off. I knew he was in it. Yeah, all right. I was way off. Yes. Ferranta here is the bad guy. My bad. It's been so long since I've seen this movie. For some reason, I just associated him with the movie. Don't know why. Anyway, that guy is the he's still alive, yes?
Yes.
Or it's implied heavily that Jeff Bridges kills him? It wasn't on screen though.
It wasn't. That's true. He does go to that camp and put the little fucking he puts the earbuds in, the Apple earbuds or whatever, and then turns on the Sonic bullshit, and the guy's like veins light up and he gets paralyzed. And then I think there's guns that go off in the tent after Jeff Bridges' character walks out. I'm
like genuinely embarrassed because I swear to you, for years, I haven't seen the original Iron Man in years, but for years I just assumed that it was Tom Morello who was that character. Like I just took his face and put it on that character for some reason.
Apparently
And
so.
now I feel like a total idiot because I just genuinely believe that. I genuinely just believed. I was like, well, of course. He was the villain. I don't know why I thought that. I don't know how it got put there in my head. Here we are. Here we are. I just assumed, and now I have been made the fool. So you're
Fine.
welcome, Internet, for joining me on this adventure in tomfoolery.
It's all right.
I honestly am shook. I swear to you. I swear I thought it was him. I don't know what happened between the time when I first saw the movie and now. I swear I thought it was him. This is like one of those things where, you know, like Berenstain Bears and the Berenstain Bears. And you're just like, it's not how it was. I swear to you. I just literally went and looked up like the character. And I was like, that's not Tom Morello at all. It's not even like remotely close. They don't even like look similar. I don't know why I thought that.
You know what? Let me create a distraction for you.
Uh-oh.
Look at this super cool
Uh-oh.
sideshow collectible I got. Of
Ooh.
Dr. Strange.
Holy shit.
I almost wait. Which one is that? I think I might have bought that one too. Oh yeah.
27 inches.
It's a real deal right there. It's a real deal.
All I'm saying is
That was
there's
my
an
version
alt
of a
universe.
smoke bomb for you, Jesse.
There you go.
It did not work. Now I'm obsessed with the fact that there might be an alt universe where I'm correct.
Dude,
Well, I'm just
I'm
saying,
trying to help you.
No,
I'm
for a
trying to
second.
I'm
help.
from an alternate reality, and in my reality, he was, and that's why this is so weird. Because there was some event where I was brought here, and now that's why it's so different, right? All I'm saying is, there's the potential that I'm right. If the multiverse is a real thing, potentially I'm correct and not a crazy person.
Jesse, I don't know what we all remember that famous scene where the bad guy in the first Iron Man sings "Killing in the Name of" right before he tries to kill Iron Man.
Well, it wouldn't be him singing it.
It's true.
That would be Zach who was singing it.
It's true.
And Zach wasn't the villain.
And then during
Totally.
that big breakout scene, they don't play "I Am Iron Man." They're playing "Bulls on Parade" while Tony Stark's trying to.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That was in my version from my reality. It was a totally different thing. And it was weird because he was actually playing the bass line in the movie. It was
Multiverse
strange.
confirmed. Multiverse confirmed. All right. All
My
right.
While
Iron
hanging
Man.
from a truck, and it actually ties into Mad Max. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
My Iron Man was Matt LeBlanc. True. It's true.
Wait, is this now?
What? That's cursed.
Is this
That
podcast just going to become like bad casting MCU? Because I'm all
Oh
about
my
it. I'm all about it.
God.
Adam Sandler is Loki. Think about it.
No!
Yeah, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Doctor Strange.
Captain America.
That's Danny DeVito. 100%.
Captain America was Will Ferrell. Yeah, it's crazy.
Captain America is
It was
Will
such a-
Ferrell.
Yeah, such a great in my universe.
100%.
Yeah,
I'd
you
watch
don't
it.
get it.
Yeah.
Mhm. Brad Pitt was
If
Thor.
we're
Yep.
doing this, then Ant-Man is definitely Nicolas Cage.
Yep.
Oh yes, yeah,
Confirmed.
yeah.
Confirmed.
Mhm.
Confirmed.
Angelina Jolie was Black Widow.
Yeah. Gilbert Godfrey was actually probably Thanos.
Groot. Godfrey was Groot.
Oh, no, Groot. Yeah, he's Groot.
I'm Groot.
That's
And
great.
wasn't Winter
I am
Soldier
Groot.
Triple H?
Yes.
Mhm.
Accurate. Accurate.
Yep.
Did we miss anyone?
No, I think we're good. Rocket Raccoon was Jack
Silver
Black.
Surfer
Yeah.
is Wyatt Russell in tinfoil. Confirmed. 100%. He's back.
Oh,
Oh,
my
the Hulk
universe-
is Steve
my-
Buscemi.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chris
wanna
Rock
see him
My
was
universe
Falcon.
is great.
Or no, Chris Rock was Black Panther. Jeez.
Oh, Chris Rock was Roddy, right? Rodney.
What?
Patriot.
What?
Chris, his friend, Iron Man's friend.
Mhm.
Oh, War Machine.
War Machine.
War
Iron
Machine.
Patriot.
Iron Patriot.
Yeah.
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 I can't ever remember if it's Roddy or Rodney, but I feel like Roddy's a better name because
Rhodey.
Rodney.
It's Rhodey.
Rhodey?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Both
Rhodes.
of those are in my universe. In my universe, it was Rodney.
Yeah, you said Rodney, and I.
In my universe, Chris Rock played Rodney.
We gotta wrap this fucking show up. We gotta get out of here before we get in trouble.
But
I'm gonna get a message
Gwyneth
that's like, "You're no
Paltrow
true Marvel
is still
fan."
Pepper.
Yes, Gwyneth Paltrow is still
Always.
Pepper. She's the nexus
Always.
of this universe. 100%. She's the nexus being, without question. It's not Scarlet Witch. It's her. And Mephisto is actually in every show. He just plays like a fly or something. He shows up in every scene.
Yeah, the Olsen twins both play Scarlet Witch.
Yes.
They switch off. In my universe, the Olsen twins are still very popular.
Someone in my chat said the worst cursed comment. They said Ninja is Spider-Man. And that's how we're going to end the show.
It literally is just him, but like the blue.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Guys, thanks so much for watching the MCU Crew. We're going to call it a show. We will be back on May, question mark? Is it? Wow. Yeah.
Oh.
May the 3rd. We'll be talking the final episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And then wait, does Black Widow come out the 7th of May?
No, I thought it was June 9th.
What starts on the 7th of May for the MCU?
Isn't it the What
Is that
If
What
show?
If? Maybe it is What If.
Yeah, July 9th is Black Widow.
So wait, what comes out in May?
I don't think anything. I don't think anything comes out in May.
How are we gonna
Loki's
have a
not-
job, Jesse? Something needs to come
Now,
out.
have you
in
ever
May.
heard of in my reality, Black Widow's already out. And let me tell you, I'm about to spoil all of it for you. Taskmaster, not only an incredible character, but played by the equally incredible Christopher Walken. It's an incredible performance. He dance battles everyone. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Unexpected. When the mask comes off and it's Chris Walken, crazy. Who would have seen it coming?
That's true. Well, maybe for May we watch some of the older movies and talk about those then. I thought there was definitely something happening every week in May.
May is Star Wars time.
Oh, is it like the May the 4th bullshit starts it off with
May
Bad Batch
4th
or
is
something?
Bad Batch. Yeah, yeah.
May
Oh.
the 4th bullshit.
I mean, they made
Or
it
as
a
the
fucking
kids call
holiday.
it, Bad Bitch, the TV show. Bad Bitch.
I'd watch that.
That'd
be
I'm
great.
down to watch. Yeah.
It'd be 10 out of 10.
Any show you want to call Bad Bitch, I'm down to watch. I imagine that show would be amazing.
Probably be very good. Have to be on like HBO though. You know, HBO
Fine
or
with
like
me.
Showtime. Probably better for it.
I'll watch.
So we will be back May the 3rd. We'll talk about all the Marvel stuff up to that point. And then we'll figure out what we'll cover in the future shows between then and Loki. But we gotta do some shout outs. Jesse's losing his goddamn mind. Bronze started.
I am like an embarrassment to myself. I mean,
Bronze, do some shout outs.
Hi, hello. I'm That Bronze Girl. You can find me on Twitter at That Bronze Girl and on Twitch 6 days a week. I've got a new D&D show that we're on episode 5 of. I just finished uploading it because I messed up the first time. So yeah, you can follow me on all the things. That's it. That's all I've got.
There you go. Jesse, please.
Oh, hey, everyone. Boy, so much stuff that you can follow me on YouTube or Twitch or on Twitter or Instagram or wherever the kids are at these days. Yeah, I do all sorts of fun stuff. None of it nearly as cool as these two, but equally, I'm going to say equally culturally important and relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and I'm excited to be here and totally make a fool of myself every single week. Except next week when I won't be making a fool of myself on the internet. Maybe in public, but not on the internet.
Maybe so. That'll do it for this week of the MCU. Thanks so much for watching. I'm going to continue streaming for the next 5 or 6 hours. At least the next 3, I'll be playing some more PoE at 6 p.m. Eastern. Me, Jericho, and Gold Glove are going to go on a journey and watch Samsara together. I've seen Baraka before. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, it's a journey of a movie. That'll be at 6 p.m. Eastern if you do want to watch along with us on all of our channels. Wednesday, we'll have Drop Frames. Northern Lion's going to be joining us on that. Tomorrow, probably PoE all day. And then Thursday, I'm out for a week. I'll be back the following Wednesday with another episode of Drop Frames. There will be no MCU Crew next week. It's just going to be me on vacation / getting married in San Antonio. These two fuckers will be here as well, or be there as well. And, you know, maybe, when do you get, Bronze, you don't get until Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Jesse, when are you getting in?
Friday night.
Are you guys going to watch the episode before then? What if we watch the episode on like Saturday night or something together?
That would be kind of cool.
Could do that.
Great.
Maybe.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Sure. Okay.
Could
All right.
happen.
You've talked
Could
me into
happen.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not going to
That'd be
record it,
cool.
but we might watch it. Maybe. Who knows? We'll figure it out. We'll let you guys know. That'll do it for the MCU Crew. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, also, big shout out to everyone who's already following us on Twitter, twitter.com/MCU Crew. We post weekly updates about the MCU, and we'll most likely getting more of those as we move along, as Reggie has command of that account now. Also, anyone that's been listening to us on podcast formats on like iTunes and Spotify and all of that stuff, and especially those of you that leave reviews over there, especially the kind-hearted reviews. You guys are great. Keep doing that. We love you so much for it, and appreciate you helping us get the show out there. That'll do it, though. We're going to get out of here. This is going to be an hour-long show, guys. We racked in almost 3 today. So let's try to trim it down. Let's try to really rein it in next time. No more conversation about Rage Against the Machine and Iron Man 1. Jesus.
I thought we were not going to bring this up anymore. I thought we were moving on, JP.
It's sticking
and
with
we're going to mock me for being very, very wrong. Very wrong. Insultingly wrong. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's all right.
It's all right. It's all right. We're out. We'll see you guys 2 weeks from now, not next week. Have a great rest of your week, though. We're out of here. Bye-bye. Can't believe Rage Against the